won't even.
Hey, everybody. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
It is Friday. Let's get some hellos done, and then we'll get on with it. I got all kinds of stuff to talk about tonight, and I hope B does too. I don't know. I haven't reviewed her list, but we were just having this discussion on how she needs to have an equal number of things to talk about as I have to talk about. Would you agree?
That is what you were talking about. I do. Yes, I heard you talking about that.
All right, cool. So Farm Ranch Homestead was first in the house. Good evening to you. The Banquet of Consequences. Terminator's in the house. Greatest name on the internet.
Half bubble up.
Yep. Janine Minky's in the house. Silver Lining. How are you, my friend? City Greens. Good evening. Vicky. Good evening. And Vicky's sitting there with her husband, Private Cluck. Gypsy 19. I love this. Gypsy says, "Hello, fellow yokesters." Yep, we do got to yoke up, huh? Yoking up's important. Yep. Gypsy also said, got my passing grades on the septic building, waiting on my electrical on Monday. Congratulations, bud. So what's that, like 89.5? 90? So Gypsy and I were talking about, their journey and how he was 84% complete starting a couple days ago. And so that's what that's in reference to.
And so every day as he's adding.
He gets a little bit more done. He's, gets closer and closer to that 100. So instead of focusing on all we have left to do, focus on we only have 14% left. We only have 20% left. We only have, right? It's that mental medicine you need every day.
You're getting closer, getting closer.
Keep going. Yep. Yep. It looks like some people are having some sodas. That's good. Hey, RN is in the house. Aljo, Barb, and Aljo from Southern California. Well, welcome. One Step Closer is in the house. I'm actually going to talk about you a little bit later, Mr. One Step Closer.
Uh-oh.
I know, right? Dangerous. Yep. Here we go. Yep. Hippocrates Garden is in the house. He is the instigator, and that is a bad dad joke, by the way. Let me see who else we got here. Eagle Lover, Texas. How are you? What else we got here? Jonathan. I just talked to him earlier today. Yep. Time to tune in while he's doing some cooking. Luis. The beautiful Luis is in the house. Yep. Jesus is in the house. Grateful Hearts. Song of Joy. Yep. Dave and Sonia in Michigan. How are you guys, my friend? They got a channel out there. They do some pretty cool stuff.
Yes.
Canning Couple. There's another one. The beautiful MJ in Wisconsin is in the house. Carrie Davis is in the house. Dana Randell is in the house. Drummondson Live. Leather Homestead. How you doing, bud? I've got to call him. I'm going to have Leather Homestead's going to be on the show one of these times. We just have not been able to get hooked up. I'm making a note right now. I just get so busy. Okay, where are we at here? I think we did all of those. EZ is in the house. The famous LJC is in the house.
Hello, everyone.
Yep. I was on a video call with her the other day, and I went to my wife like this, and she called me Joe Biden. No lie. She really did that.
She said, "Happy Friday." Yeah, because you look like you were sniffing around.
But you're my wife. That's different than a bunch of little kids on stage, right? I mean, that's not quite.
And yes.
Anyway.
Other people's wives.
Yep. Dragonfly Ryan, what's going on, bud? Indiana Mike, ahoy. I just hung out with him a little bit earlier today, which is pretty cool. And Dorothy Holloway's in the house. Okay. What do you got on your list today?
Hello. Well, Labor Day is over. I hope everybody had a wonderful Labor Day. We didn't do very...
We worked.
We labored. Yes, on Labor Day.
Yep.
So, and our company got home. They left and got home safe.
Yep.
So
American Roots.
We are empty housed for a minute.
Yep.
I was able to, it was quiet. Mm-hmm. I was able to harvest some seeds up in the garden. I got to go up there and spend some time solo harvesting Cosmo seeds and calendula seeds for the Buffalo Seed Company. Oh, and ground cherries. And then the neighbor gave me a hyssop plant, and it was quite large. So I went and pulled some leaves and flowers off of that, just for myself or for you, for us.
Ain't nothing for me.
That you know of.
Yeah, right.
So have you noticed your coffee tasting different in the morning?
Nope.
Yep. So
you see how she smiles? That's like a total.
Like I totally got away with it.
That's an 8-year-old smile.
I got away with it. So I've been putting mullein leaves in your coffee in the morning because I got that press. So I just put the grounds in there and then I break up the leaf and I put that in there and then I just steep it until like whenever I let it steep until you come and get it. And then I press it and pour it.
I don't want to know.
Not tell the difference.
I don't want to know.
Dude.
I don't want to know. Just don't even tell me. I don't even want to know.
So I was able to harvest some hyssop for us.
Us.
And I think that's about it. I weed eated a little bit and oh no, I didn't weed eat. I wanted to weed eat and I tried to change the saw blade on the bottom of the weed eater and I can't get the nut turned. I don't know if it's clockwise or counterclockwise, but I can't.
Okay, you guys want to hear something
get
funny?
It off.
Let's hear something funny. Ready? What tool were you using to try to take the nut off?
Pliers.
What kind of pliers?
Needle nose. That's what I had on my hip. I have a pair of pliers.
Do you guys suppose that the needle
They were
nose
just
have anything to do with the reason you can't get the nut off the end?
I was gripping it. Why does it matter if it was?
Oh my gosh.
What is it? I can hold it. I just can't. I don't know which way to turn.
Oh my goodness.
The blade.
Hey, if a recipe calls for 2 cups of sugar, why not just put 4? What's the difference? It's still sugar.
Is there directions?
Yes, there's a nut and it's a particular size. That's your directions.
But so what does that got to do with what does that have to do with anything?
Needle nose aren't going to take it off, babe. You can't get a good grip on it. You can't.
I had a grip on it. I just couldn't turn. I couldn't tell which way to turn it. I can grip it. I can hold it.
You want to say hello to Faith? Say hi,
hello.
Faith. Hi, Faith. Welcome.
Anyway, so I couldn't get the saw blade changed off.
Jonathan says,
got cooked. All my calendula got cooked in the crispy Texas summers. Yep. RN, hello B. How is the Thistle War? Oh, so I have more than I thought. It's crazy how you don't see it until it's bloomed and it's a problem. Because like there's a whole background of green stuff, and then you're like, hey, there's something in there, and then you're like, oh no, and then of course it's in the center or in the back, and then you have to, oh my gosh, then you have to like weed eat all the way to it. And then by that time they're like the size of trees. Like,
takes you that long to weed eat back there to it?
I didn't know that. Well, so like back by the fence, I just go back there, move in some concrete bags, and I just look over and I'm like, no, that purple bush. It's a purple bush now. Wasn't there?
Apparently it's not going well.
No, it is not going well.
Hey,
they are everywhere.
Jules, good evening. And Skanes Girl, good evening. See if I can get down here just a little bit.
And then digging them up is not a whole lot of fun.
Banquet of Consequences planting some black-eyed peas. Got the saving for seeds. Jesus says, sometimes we got to sneak things into men's food and drink. That's how it is when you take care of others.
Yeah.
I just don't want to know.
Because they just don't want to.
Hey, Barb. Barb says, tag, are you in a mood? I'm always in a mood, Barb. Always.
Always.
I'm pretty much always ornery. Faith says, righty tighty, lefty loosey.
Not always.
And use the right size would help a ton. There we go. Look at this. She needs some channel locks or vice grips. I only have a huge shop, and I probably have 50 pairs of vice grips and 30 pairs of channel locks. You just got to go get them.
I have a pair of pliers on my hip. I just didn't know that it had to be a certain kind of plier.
Yeah.
Didn't he say different plier? It's a channel lock.
Channel lock or vice grips.
Which are both pliers, right?
That would be correct.
So I was on the right. I was on the right path. I didn't need something totally different, like something else.
Yeah, Jonathan says righty tighty, lefty loosey too.
On the weed eater, because it's not always like that.
It's pretty much always like that. There are some reverse threads. There are some reverse threads. Tag, if a recipe calls for 2 cups of sugar, how much honey would add instead?
Right.
You know that way better than I do.
Right. That's more like it because it's a different.
Plier. Needle nose pliers are for putting mayonnaise on bread, right? Right.
I thought they were for
Right.
everything.
Hey, Bonnie's in the house. Hey, Bonnie, how are you? I have actual kitchen pliers, only to be used on food. Just saying. Yeah, what do you?
I would love to see what your kitchen pliers look like.
What do your kitchen pliers look like? B.
They're yellow. They say something on them on the handle.
I bought a pair of wire strippers, and she stole them. And she stole them so that she could take the metal rings off the end of a sausage roll. And so I lost my pliers forever.
They work so good.
Here you go.
Plant ID. I think some of that is burdock. What the
Stuff you're putting in my coffee?
Whoops.
No, that would not be funny.
Whoops. I think she's talking about the thistle.
No. Lefty loosey, righty tighty. Generally, a spinning shaft might be backwards.
Yes, that's what I was thinking because it was not going the way that I needed it to go.
Yep, American Roots is in the house. Yep, righty tighty, lefty loosey. Let's see here. The nut will tighten in the direction the weed eater rotates, engineering a mower or weed eater so that the shaft nut thread in the direction of the cutter is unwise because you don't want it to unwind while you're going, right?
So then it would
be.
Hey,
Jane. ACM's in the house. Hello. Pack Rat. Hello. A socket from a socket shaft. If the shaft nut is a hex nut, which it is. Yeah. LJC wants to know if I'm going to start sniffing her again.
I hope not. I haven't showered and we've been busy today.
Yeah. American Root says she'll show you her pliers. I'm assuming that's what she's talking about.
You have kitchen pliers too?
Yep. Silver Lining says what you're calling thistle. Yeah. Let me see here. Tag, if you catch her reading arsenic and old lace, start making your own food.
But he can't.
Kitchen pliers are just a cheap pair that hasn't been used for anything else. Yeah, well, they are packed, but yes. All right, my turn. All right, so we've been busy on the farm. And if you guys remember, so this picture right here where Mr. Panzer is standing, we had just poured this pad, right? And this is here. I hope you guys can see my arrow, but hey, type a 1 if you can see my arrow or something. Say yes or something. I don't know if you can see my cursor. I think anyway. Anyway, so we poured this pad so that we could start building some stairs. And this was the edge of that retaining wall that we showed you guys pictures of. And so we were going to build stairs. They said no, they can't see it. Okay. Anyway, right in front of the dog right there, we're going to try to build some stairs headed up. We were going to, and there they are. So that picture was taken in front of them. Okay. So here's the stairs that we built today. Right. These are concrete. And as you can tell, they're not fully hardened yet because we just poured them. We started pouring at about 11 o'clock this morning. Right. And a buddy of mine, Indiana, came over and helped. And so B and Indiana and I poured these stairs today. So before that old picture, if you look back in front of the dog, that's where those stairs now sit.
Where the gravel is.
Yeah, where that gravel is and where a little bit of that grass is. Right. So
now we've got 3 steps up.
Now we got 3 steps up. And so if you guys, I wish you guys could see my cursor, could make this so much easier. But this retaining wall where it stops right before the stairs, we're going to go up the stairs and we're going to turn the corner and die it back into that building over there. That building over there is B's processing kitchen. And you can see, if you look in the background, you can see a small footing and a couple stakes right kind of between those 2 windows back there in the back. So that footing will connect to those stairs kind of in a circle. And then I'll fill it with block. And then we'll fill it with dirt. And what are you going to do with it?
Fill it with block?
Well, I'll block
You'll
around the edges. We'll fill it with dirt.
Yeah.
Or soil. And then what are you going to do with it?
I would like to plant. We had talked about one of those fruit cocktail trees.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what they called them?
Yep.
A fruit cocktail?
Yeah.
they're grafted that has multiple different kinds of fruit. And then I would like to have a magnolia bush.
Mhm.
And then maybe some herbs and strawberries and stuff. I mean, how big is that area, would you say?
Oh goodness, that's probably 30 by 40 or 50 feet. It's pretty good size.
So I guess I don't know if I could have all that. I probably should do 2 trees instead of a tree and magnolia bush.
Yeah, probably. So Faith wants to know, so is that not asking for water to pour down the porch? Actually, it's not. I'll show you why. So if you look, this is the top. If you look, you can't see it very well. You guys see where the gravel meets the grass up there? Kind of on the left-hand side of the picture, right up there at the top. So that's the highest spot on my property. So we're pretty much sitting at the top. But that water runs down that gravel and would run right towards the front door. And so we did a couple things for it. The first thing is, you see the little patch of concrete between the 2 sidewalks, and it looks to be about a foot wide. Those 2 sidewalks cave in or downhill. So
where the footer that the block is sitting on.
Yep, the footer that the block is sitting on, so that when the water comes down, that water will run out in front of the house and never actually get to the house. That's the first thing. Second thing is, now these tops of these steps, when you level out all the way, I'm back up at the top of the hill, so there's no more water running down. We're clear at the top. And I got to build the rock wall and all of this. And it's funny, B, if you ask B, well, let's just ask her, B, why did we build all this?
To stop the water.
To stop the water. That's right.
Because water, and it's not much of a slope, but water it will take the path of least resistance. And it gets in where you don't need it.
Yep. So we actually built this entire retaining wall, this whole planting box, these stairs, and all of this to deal with the water. Yeah, Pockerty says there's room for a small chicken coop.
No.
Yep. 2 tree guilds would fit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and see, when we built Pod 1, and Pod 1 was supposed to be just a place to park the skid loader. When we built Pod 1, we were not concerned about the water coming around either, coming right at it, because it was a 20-foot footprint on that side of the property, I guess. So, and the dirt was higher, so the water kind of went around both sides of it. And then we built on, and then built on, and then built on.
Yeah.
And that footprint became, what is that? 20, 20, 20.
No, it's
40.
20, 30, 20, 30.
That's only 30?
It's 20 foot. The pods are 20 foot wide, 30 foot wide, 20 foot wide, and 30 foot wide.
So what is that?
100 feet.
100 feet.
Yeah.
So 100, now the footprint is 100 feet, and the water that's coming at it we mostly didn't have problems. It was when we had what was it 3 inches and 45 minutes?
Yeah.
3 inches and 45 minutes. And it was not.
It came just rushing down right at the front door. And so we decided we would do something about it. I like this statement here. So the Banquet of Consequences says that would be a wonderful kitchen garden. Well, guys, that back building back there's a stainless steel processing kitchen. And so if she can grow all of her, herbs out here and a lot of that stuff out here, it puts it right there next to her processing kitchen. And so that should be a pretty cool gig.
And it would be easy to get to too. That would be nice.
Yeah. Faith says, okay, cool. From the pic, it looks like you're building a pool on your house. Yeah. Nope. These will be all retaining walls. They're going to stand up tall. It should direct all the water away, and we ought to be good to go, or at least I think.
Maybe because that looks like it comes down.
Yeah.
At an angle.
Yeah. Gypsy wants to know if your house quit shrinking.
Sinking, shrinking.
Sinking.
It is. No, it's going to continue to sink.
It's not.
We
sinking.
still have to put more dirt in the retaining wall. So at the retaining wall, we're putting dirt and then leveling or grading it backwards. So now the dirt will create a ditch farther out and then go around the building and into a more grassy area.
Yeah.
Where
it'll run away from the house.
It's established and
Hey, Rick.
Gonna be a problem.
Hey, Rickster. Hey, Zeus says she went to the post office and heard the cheaps of the babies someone had ordered. We were just talking about that. I got a deal from Murray Hatchery today for buy one get one free guineas, but we don't have time to get them big enough to survive the winter. So we're done for the year as far as
Baby
raising them.
birds. Yeah.
Yeah. Rhonda, good evening. Eagle Lover says, and maybe some beautiful, what's that word?
Amaryllis.
Blooming there in a couple years. Wait. Yeah. And maybe some beautiful amaryllis blooming there in a couple of years. Just asking. Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'll write it down though because I'll look into it. I need to kind of go with the, different heights and such.
Yep, a herb garden would be great right there. They say. Yep. Hey, Hilltop Home Place, welcome. So, looking at the shadow, is that facing west or east? So the stairs would be facing directly west. Yep, agree with the kitchen garden. Yeah, I do too. Skange Girl says we're gonna get some rain that's headed through here. Well, we're supposed to get rain on Sunday, Monday. Is that right?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, something like that. Sunday, Monday. So let's just keep going on the pictures here, huh? So another thing I wanted to tell you guys about. So we poured these stairs, but I also poured this pad today. And so where I live, when you order concrete, you have to order 5 yards. 5 yards is your minimum order. And so I had to come up with enough stuff to fill 5 yards. So you guys can't see this yet, but when this is done, that block wall will kind of come around this whole pad as well. And it's going to be a bunch of raised planting boxes. So she can plant all kinds of stuff just right around the house. So we poured that pad and we poured that stair and then just some little oddball things. So we filled the blocks with concrete. I had that little tiny small footing thing you look up at the top right-hand corner is for a pillar that will eventually sit there. And then the one on the bottom right hand is just another small footing for the block wall where it attaches to the processing kitchen. Let me see here. She said, I gave you seeds at the Midwest Preparedness Festival, just saying. Eagle ever did.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. And Vicky said,
I have all of that I found it because I have moringa seeds. I was like, I'm going to try to start those again.
Vicky's saying amaryllis bulbs would have to be dug up in the winter here. We don't want to plant anything that we have to dig up. I'm 100% opposed to that. Yep, there's a silver lining. Let me see here. Oh, Kelly Ireland's in the house. Good evening to you. Okay, well, I think there's still a couple more pictures in here. This one was funny.
Oh,
you guys see something cool?
Poor guy.
Yeah, so this is Violet.
Girl.
Yeah. And so when I was pouring that pad, when I was pouring this pad down here, I wasn't watching. I poured it, I screeded it, and then she decided to go dig in it with her nose and her paws. So you can see her nose, she got covered in concrete, her paws and her nose today. Poor little girl, huh?
It's all over her collars.
Yeah.
I ended up washing her off, trying to get the majority of it off. I didn't know she was digging in it with her nose.
Yes.
I was wondering how come she had it all over her face.
Yeah, because she was in her paws and her nose digging in the wet concrete. But you and I were working on the stairs.
What was she digging
Who
for?
knows? She's weird. She takes after you.
Right.
Yeah. Half Bubble Off Plum says we had a fruit cocktail tree, lost it this past December and January when it was freezing here in Florida.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to have to do some investigating into all of that.
Yeah.
Yep. Hey, Loco E, the Philippine Nomad's in the house. Good evening to you. So this is B working on the edges, just trying to get them, kind of cleaned up and kind of ready to go. You guys can see that footing that attaches to the processing kitchen up in the top right-hand corner behind those blocks. So that footing is going to attach to those stairs in a big circle, and then the rest of that will be her planting box,
area.
Right?
Yeah.
All that makes sense?
Yeah. I was just fixing that corner that was blown out.
Yep. Is there anything else in here? I'm in the top of the bottom of the. Okay, they're not talking to me.
When we took the frame off, we did it different this time. We took the frame off while it was still
pretty wet,
somewhat wet, so that we could kind of smooth it better.
Yeah.
And it worked really good. But when we took one of the front frame off, it pulled a chunk of the concrete too. So we had to get up and
on the second step.
Yep.
Yeah, but you guys noticed in the pictures.
That's what I was working on.
You didn't even see it, right? Let's go back. Let's see if they can point it out, because there was a blunder.
Yeah, it was a pretty pretty significant.
No, wait, I want to do it with your
chunk.
picture because your picture is the one right there.
Well, it's
Okay.
right where my hand is. Right?
Oh, yeah. So right here where she's at, we had a little boo-boo when we took the form off, but she got it fixed up really, really good. Hey, Starla, welcome.
I had to like spackle it back in there like a cake, like I'm frosting a cake.
Yep. Well, it was a good gig, right?
I hope it'll stay, right? Because
it's fine.
the two
It was
pieces
wet.
were wet. So
Yeah.
as long as they dry together,
Yeah.
they'll stay on there.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be all right. And if not, we'll deal with it, right? So anyway, we got a question for you guys. We want to know your guys' opinion on something. So we need to put blocks on the top of the retaining wall, right? And so I really have two main choices. You guys know from all of my previous videos, I'm a big believer in building in commons. Building with things that are super common. I don't want to build with weird stuff that I have to special order and none of that stuff. So these are your most common blocks that I could use to cap the wall, the retaining wall off. So the first block, which would be the darker gray one, is 4 inches thick. It's the exact same size as the block, but it's 4 inches thick. The one on the right is 1.5 inches thick. So the difference in cost is marginal. So it doesn't really
like 20 cents.
Yeah, like 20 cents difference between the two blocks. And so we're trying to figure out, do we want to put the 4-inch block or the thinner block on?
Stacked together or stacked on there. We have a couple of each of them, and the little ones on the wall look so little.
Yeah.
And then the big ones on the wall just look really big.
Mhm.
It looks like a cinder block sitting on top of a wall.
Yeah. Except the cinder block's 8 inches tall.
I know, but
these blocks are 4 inches tall. So it's actually half the size.
It's large.
Yeah. Yeah. So far we've got One Step Closer likes the thin ones. Jules likes the thicker ones.
Oh, let's take a tally.
Yep. Yeah. Take a tally. Okay. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Faith likes the thinner ones.
Well, there was one for each, right?
Yeah, one for each, and then Faith. So that's 2 votes for the thinner ones.
Okay, got it.
Okay. Vicky likes the thinner ones.
Okay.
Eagle Lover likes the thinner ones.
Oh.
Yep. Skeins Girl likes the thinner ones.
Wow.
MJ in Wisconsin likes the thinner ones. Gypsy likes the thinner ones. The Philippine Nomad likes the thinner ones. Rickster likes the thinner ones.
Okay.
Oh.
Wow. Well.
Oh.
There's just one person that liked the thick ones.
Yep. Jamie likes the thick ones. You got 2.
Okay,
thick
so
ones,
2.
yeah.
Which one did you like?
Yep. And you got 3 now. Jesus says if the price isn't double, I think the thicker ones would be good. Should be more sturdy. Well, no, crack less too.
They're literally 20 cents.
20 cents difference.
Cost the thick
so
ones
the thin ones are
$1.80.
$1.80, no, $1.90, and the thick ones are like $2.10. Okay, you ready to keep going? We got all kinds of votes. Okay, so Steve likes the thin ones. ACM likes the thin ones. Yep. Leather Homestead says thick, heavier, and stay in place better. Yep. Tom likes the thinner ones. Drummondson Live said thin soaked in water seal. So Drummondson Live likes the thin ones.
Water seal.
Terminator likes thick ones. Amanda likes thick ones. Hello, Amanda.
Well, it's getting.
Yep. Oh, I missed one. Down on the Homestead. So they like the thick ones, but I would assume that means thick. I don't know. I kind of like the idea that so the tick could be the little one too, right?
Oh, that's true.
She said thick. We got it. I'm just giving you a hard time. Yep. No, I think I prefer the thick ones because I think it just makes it more massive, And you know how I am. I mean, look at the character inside our house, and everywhere we go, there's something to stare at and something to look at. But I don't think it's a make or break. Regardless, you know what I mean? They're all going to be okay. We're going to mortar them down.
From the side of as you're driving up the driveway, you will not see the decorative block because it's dirt.
It's covered, yeah.
This is what you're going to see.
Yeah, this is all you're going to see.
These sitting on the ground.
That's right. That's all you're going to see. Correct. Well, that's not totally true because when it turns that corner, you're 1 high. So you're going to see a 1.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So you're going to see 1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Faith says.
So those would be sitting on top of them, on top of the little wall too.
That's right. And so you got 1 block and a little, or 1 block and a big, right? In the part of Louisiana I'm from, you ask people how they like their gumbo, tick or tin. Yep. The instigator says, I like the big blocks. I cannot lie. Yep. If you have to cut them to fit curves, it will be easier to cut the thin ones. Yeah, but I've got a power saw that'll do it. It don't make
But
no
those
difference.
are solid, aren't they?
They're
Are
all
those
solid. Both of them are
four?
solid.
I know, but
The thin ones will be much easier to cut. They'll cut quicker, but I can cut them either way. Jules says she's from Texas. Bigger is better. Kelly says she likes the thin ones.
oh, well, there's
Yep.
the thin that is far out.
Eagle Lover wants to know if you're going to stain or leave them natural.
We had discussed staining all of the concrete the same color gray because they are all gray.
Mhm.
They're just slightly different shades of gray, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we had talked about painting or staining, probably staining them, but I don't think that it's on the top priority.
Rick says at Hippocrates Garden, laugh out loud. Because remember when he said he likes big
Yes,
blocks? He
big
said,
blocks, and he cannot lie.
I like big blocks and I cannot lie. Yeah. Hey, Aljo says thick.
Thick.
Get another vote for thick.
Okay.
Yep. Leather Homestead said you can bevel the edge with a grinder. Thick would be better. Which one provides more cover? Well, I would argue that the thick one provides more, not just cover, but also more concealment. Yep. You could paint pictures of herbs on them.
You can round those. You can round
Oh,
the
yeah.
edges.
Oh,
after.
yeah. Oh, yeah. I can round them. No problem. That little grinder that I had you using with a diamond bit on it to knock places off of the concrete.
That doesn't really round it though.
Oh, it will absolutely round it. You just got to move your wrist a little bit.
Yeah, it's not perfect. It won't just.
Yeah.
It's not like a
Well,
router.
There's no part of our house that's perfect.
I know.
You're
but
the
a
only thing in the whole
router-
house that's perfect.
Aw,
The only
that's
thing.
So nice.
Did you make me any desserts today?
I'll let you sniff.
Faith says when Grandma said that sounded like hands, she meant ants. Ants meant hands. Laugh out loud. I miss the sweet woman. Aw. Yep. Kelly says nope. Thick blocks. Wonder if we put her down for thin ones. The thin ones will look more like a topper to the decorative blocks. The thicker plain blocks will detract from the decorative blocks. Interesting.
See, I
Yep,
think
the thinner
I
looks
think-
more finished. Johnny, what's up? How's Johnny? Shoot them first and see how they stand up. Yeah.
That
They
sounds like
won't.
an answer you would come up with.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty neat. All right, let me get out of here. All
Yeah,
right.
So that's what we're trying to figure out what to put on the top of them now.
Yeah.
I guess some people just like pour concrete in them and then just
Well,
like
that's another thing was that I wouldn't mind actually just pouring a cap. And the only reason I like the idea of pouring a cap is because I can make it one long one. Frame up underneath it, make one long pour the whole way. There's no seams.
but
There's
if
nothing
it cracks,
to mortar.
it cracks.
Right. All right. Jules, there was somebody else earlier. I think it was RN that asked, hey, Tag, how's the Wallapini coming? It's great. It's a big hole in the ground.
Mm-hmm.
It fills with water and it fills into my pond. It's doing wonderful.
It's got lots of weeds in there,
Yep.
lots of natural habitat.
Yeah. By the way, that dog that got covered in concrete, not long after that went down to the pond and decided it was going to go swimming with the geese.
Oh, yeah.
And the geese were having none of it. And pretty soon that dog was crying.
Gee.
Them geese jumped a hold of her and out in the middle of a pond.
He bit her tail.
Yep, and grabbed a
then
hold of the tail.
hung
and-
onto her tail. And she got out of the pond really quick with the duck attached to her backside.
Drummondson Live, Kelly says the thinner looks more finished. Drummondson Live says, will you backfill the block with dirt? So inside the block, the center of the block's all filled with concrete. And I did that on purpose because of the pressure on the wall. But behind the wall, we're going to fill the whole thing with dirt so she can plant in it. Yep, RN, the Wallapini's coming along slow. I'm not going to get to any of it this year.
No, and that is not on the list of chores this year.
Faith says, oh, you actually did start the Wallapini? I did the dirt work. So we excavated all the dirt out. So it's ready to go. I could get in there and start pouring concrete tomorrow and it would not take me long and I would have it up. But I just got so many other things in front of it that, it's funny. People ask me this all the time, like what order do you go in? And do you have a blueprint for how to build a homestead? When the fact is it's kind of different, for everybody. And, I was talking to Indiana Mike about this today and where they started in their journey and the order that they went is different than the order that I went, which is different than the order that everybody else went. And because everyone looks at threats differently and everyone looks at their needs differently, right? And so to me, solar was super important. It was the number one thing on my list. If I had power, everything else was possible. But I have a really good friend. His name's Mo. He's an engineer. I have two really good friends named Mo, but this one particular one that's an engineer, he thought that the water with the well was the most important because he had grid power. He could power the well. For me, I had to have power before I could pump the well, so it didn't matter. But there's a lot of ways to skin a cat, you know.
And it doesn't mean that anybody has a wrong idea. It's just
No.
they're just all different.
There is no such thing as a wrong idea. That doesn't exist. I mean, at the end of the day, you need to sit down and you need to say, hey, what am I concerned about? What's my threats? What's my needs, right? We talk about doing needs and threats analysis all the time. And then you answer those, you let your actions answer those for you, but they're going to be very, very different. You know, what I'm concerned about is going to be different than a lot of other people.
And sometimes you can't get to what, you know, like if it was the well, you can put your name on the well list, but you're probably not going to go out and dig yourself 100-foot well. Some people do.
See, Vicky says if you pour a seamless topper, you can put a mold on it with rounded edges. So what you do is when you frame it up, well, you just take silicone and you just run down the seams and make it round, you know, the whole way.
Yeah.
And then you can obviously pour it.
I would hate for like one or two places for it to crack or whatever. And then you're like, and then it looks bad.
Yeah.
You know, I think at least with blocks, if one breaks or something, you could take it out and put
100%.
Another one back in instead of like
100%.
one long.
Well, and then there's another problem with this too, that B and I were talking about. When you build a pillar, because I got a couple pillars I'm going to build out front, and then you cap them, you can't cap them with the blocks I just showed you.
Why?
Because how a block pillar has 4 blocks in it, and then a center 6-inch by 6-inch hole. So we'll put the 4 blocks, the 4 blocks, the 4 blocks, 4 blocks. We'll fill the 6-inch hole and then cap it. Those blocks are 8 inches by 16 inches, which means you need the 4 to cover the blocks.
You don't have to use 4.
Well,
because you're not going around a pillar. Why couldn't you just put 2 side next to each other? Why does your pillar
cover it?
Why does your pillar have to be 4? Why can't you have a 2 cinder block pillar?
Because of the
or a 3 cinder block pillar?
Because of the edges.
Because you want bigger edges?
No, you know how our rock's decorative?
Yes.
There's only on a corner block, there's only the decoration on the front and one side. So if you did it the way you wanted to do it, it would be decorative, and then you turn the corner decorative and then smooth. Back to decorative. It would look, I have to use 4 to make it all match. I have no choice but to do it, which then that's going to leave a 6-inch opening in the center of your block. So now I can't use them to cap them. So I
could use plain cinder blocks flat because those caps are flat.
Yes.
And we have flat spots
showing. You think plain cinder blocks would look okay? When you have this whole textured, gigantic maze
only on one side now.
Of cinder blocks? You're crazy.
You can only see one side of the cinder block now. Right?
Oh, man. I have missed so much. Okay, let me go back up here. Here we go. Rickster says his wall is done. I want to see pictures. Send me some pictures, Rick. I really want to check it out. Sounds like an excuse.
Did you just build a whole farm?
Yeah, he did. Well, sounds like an excuse to buy a mud mixer. I have a mud mixer, actually. I just hate doing it.
And it's like one bag at a time.
Hey, Mandy Garrett's in the house. Yeah, stop skinning cats. Yeah. Who needs a blueprint to build? Laugh out loud. I make my blueprints after I'm finished building.
Well, then you don't need them.
If you don't waterproof the back of the block, you will have many problems. Well, that's good advice. Let me go down here. What are they barking at up there?
I don't know.
Who has the best video on making your own battery backup system for a whole house solar? Any suggestions? Who has the best? I mean, there's a lot of them out there. Down on the homestead, if you go back into my videos early on, I have a video on them. We toured our solar stuff. You can also go to, as my t-shirt says, griddown.com. It's a company I own a part of along with some other people, and they sell kind of turnkey whole house battery backup systems. But I would just Google solar. There's so many good ones out there. Curtis Stone's got a pretty good solar system. Oh, Lumna Acres actually has the grid down system. If you get on Lumna Acres, you can go through and look at some of their stuff. They're pretty good. Who else has solar that
has solar videos?
Yeah, that has solar videos. Hippocrates, do you have solar videos on your stuff? I don't know if he does or not. Yeah, let me see here. I'm going to skip down here a little bit, guys, because I'm way behind. Okay, let me see here. Jesus says, my dad says we need rural water and electric. I say we can do a well and solar just fine. Hard, yes, but I can take the dollars saved on the bills and use it to add the system. Guys, I'm going to tell you something. I 100% would go get an alternative form of energy. I'm telling you. We're going to talk about it later tonight, too. I've got some articles that talk a little bit about where some of the prices are going, and specifically to our friends in Texas. But I absolutely would. Yep. I hope Hippocrates put something down in there. Let me see here. Down on the homestead, look up DIY solar with Will Prowse. Okay, got it.
There you go.
Yep. Yeah, let me see here. Got it. Okay, let me see. My wife just heard her say the Wallapini is not on your list this year. She said, your list isn't for a year. I've got to expand your list. Yeah. Yeah, guys, I'm not going to get to this year. I would like to. I've got a community building to build. I've just got a turkey coop. We call it the turkey coop, even though it's just a barn, but I've got fencing to get done. I got to get the front of this house done. I got pod 4 to finish. I'm just not going to get to it.
Yeah. The siding on the processing kitchen.
Yeah. Buy bigger toppers. Well, you could do that, except they just don't match, is the problem is you get different colors concrete, or maybe that's why you stain them, Yep. It's for the symmetry. Yep. You see here, my homestead told me what to do next. It takes on a life of its own.
Yeah.
Dorothy, this is such a great comment. And it's so true. And you get guided based upon what you run into. I get a great deal on something might totally steer me in a whole nother direction and create another project I don't really want at the given time. Right. Yeah. That's really good. And I'll send you a picture soon. I'm working on the property and trying to unpack right now. Yeah, that's cool. Sean Mills. Yep. There's another good one. Leather Homestead says a live edge wood top. Oh, would that be pretty?
Oh man.
And I have a sawmill and I have live edge wood. I have a lot of walnut right now. A lot. Hey, Midwest Ribeye, welcome. Glad you're here. Let me see who got a good idea on a privacy fence, livestock, and people's view. So you want to block out the people's view from the outside? Manny, this is a hard question to answer because I know a lot about this. I built a lot of fence in my life, but what kind of budget, like if you want to troop, there's so many different options to put up, fencing.
Well, how fast do you want it? Because you can
put
trees up, but those are going to take you years to get them where you need them.
Yeah, well, depending on the tree, right? If it's a fairly wet area, you could plant a willow, which will grow super fast. A cottonwood that would grow super fast.
Well, they kind of lose their leaves in the wintertime.
Right.
So as far as privacy fencing goes, then
we could plant cedars. We could do all of that, but you could also put up just a cedar wood fence like they do in, suburbia, and there's a lot of that.
We had a guy suggest to put a debt to pluck up take a cedar tree, cut a cedar tree down and take it and plant it, the dead tree, into the yard to just make the view as people were passing by just less noticeable.
Yep.
And then you could, plant vines or whatever around the tree so that the tree will fill in, kind of use it as a trellis. But
Manny had a comment for you.
Thank you, B, for those loofah seeds you gave me last year. They are growing nicely and can't wait to harvest as cleaning scrubs. Yes.
They're so nice.
Yeah. Keep us posted on your journeys.
Yeah, send us a picture. Who helps Nicole Sauce with her solar? I think it's Sean Mills, right? I think that's what it is. Guys, but hey, let me tell you something. I'm not suggesting this is true for him. I just want to say something. He's knowledgeable and up for less expensive solutions too, but less expensive does not mean equal. Make sure you get good equipment.
No,
what if you can't get them again? What if you can't get them again?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? I'll just leave it at that. My wife only makes a list of to-dos one weekend at a time, not a year. Oh, not here. No.
Oh.
Yeah, I like this idea. Yeah, no thanks. No thanks. Fence to stop a view or stop animals. Oh, sorry, they're talking to each other. Let me see here. Bamboo is a great berry. Yeah, that's another good one that grows fast too. Oh, cool. One More Rock says, this is the first year without one tomato worm. I used copper coils. Made my own since I had the copper. Congratulations.
Wow.
That's awesome. Is grid down for home solar supply or just for emergencies? No, Can Squatch. It's actually not for emergencies at all. Either, although we can get the small little portable stuff, it's big home turnkey systems. It's the inverters, the charge controllers, the batteries, the solar panels. You can buy the whole kit in one, where it's kind of plug and play. But it's designed for a complete home or a complete farm. You know, because you can like the small systems are like 13 kilowatt hour systems all the way up to 130 kilowatt hour systems.
I thought I had a flyer.
The big ones,
going to show it.
Yeah. Yeah. One Step Closer says Hack My Homestead. It's got a lot of great info. Cool. No maintenance, low maintenance, high maintenance. Learning to lay hedge works, but takes years and lots of work. Willow grows fast, but needs to be maintained. Yeah, it likes to drop its sticks. How tall does it need to be? Yeah.
Willow is a pickup tree.
Yeah. Thanks, Jules. Let me see. Will Prowse has great videos. Yeah, I think he came up before in the chat too. Dan just upgraded our solar with an inverter and 2 battery banks that we will run our critical now, and we can move off grid when we add some more solar panels. Good for you. Let me see here. Right, I'm DIYing my solar, but picking from some of the top of the line equipment that's proven and likely to be around for the 20-year expected lifespan. I think this is critical.
Yeah.
Absolutely critical, guys. The way things are going, whatever system you have might be the only one you get. There might not be more. I mean, there's just no way I'm just not going to risk it. I'm just not going to. Yeah, I could go save $75 a panel by buying a stack of used panels. But if I can't test them personally and know that they're super good and towards the upper end of their life, I'm not interested. I'm just not interested. Here we go here. I've had red tip in this area. A lot of them dying. Will to spend money for top quality job. She must be talking about the fence, would be my guess. Yep, apparently Will Prowse, a lot of people like them. Yeah, Can Squatch, thanks tag. Yeah, but if you go on there and there's something on there you're interested in, don't order it on the website. Contact me first and I'll make sure you get a good discount. Oh my goodness, I make my own honey to-do list and I overload me. Yeah, well, B makes her honey-do list and my honey overdue list, and she overloads both of us.
There's stuff that I can't do, so I need your help with.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I make my own to-do list. I wish I would quit adding stuff. Yeah, I know, right? Gypsy says, grid down, awesome warranty. Yeah, 25-year warranty is pretty hard to beat, huh? So, yeah, nothing lasts forever, Can Squatch. I mean, they have pretty good life in them, though, right? And if I got a used panel, and it was still testing at, like, let's say it's a 375 watt panel, and in optimum conditions, I'm still getting 350 out of it. That tells me I'll get some years out of it. But here's the thing, is that if I bought a new one, it's going to be testing at 410, 415, right? And so it's already lost 20% of its, 30% of its production by the time you get to that used panel. And I don't know, guys, I'm not knocking anybody who wants to go do it. Knock yourself out. If it's great for you, I love it. I support you. Go get energy independent. Here you go. It's for you.
We planted garden grass. Looks like beach grass, and it grows bigger and taller every year. This year is incredible.
In the East, pines can be fairly quickly growing barrier. Yeah. Pine's a good tree for a lot of things.
So how tall is that grass if it's a choche?
Yeah.
How tall is that?
I've been trying to figure out the affordability to get all of the pieces I'm going to need for my solar, but that's quite a chunk. Oh, it is, no doubt. But if you get a system that's adaptable, you can adapt as you go along. You can add panels as you go along. I mean, you can talk to, Vicky or Big Kid or, Hippocrates or a lot of the, the people that are in here that go through it, and, they'll tell you there's ways to go about doing that, Jules, that get you where you want to go. Hey, Chuck Peoples here. What's up, buddy? We see hedge brushes make a wonderful view blocker. I'm probably way far behind. Mary Michelle, good evening to you. Eastern red cedar trees make a great privacy fence and grow quickly. Yeah, I'm a huge cedar fan. It's actually my favorite wood to work with to build furniture out of. I like, there's a lot of them that I like a lot. Walnut would be up there too. My uncle was ignorant and cheap. He got sold a good deal on an on-grid system, cheap charge controller, worse inverter, and no batteries, 500 watts of rooftop uselessness. Yeah, no thanks. And a lot of people, that's happening to a lot of people. Local, I'm telling you, hear these stories all the time. I met a guy in Missouri who had like 100 solar panels on a roof and couldn't run fans and stuff through the night. Ridiculous,
because he
right?
didn't have any battery
They didn't
backup.
sell him any batteries with the system.
That's
And just like, what's the point?
Yeah.
What's the point?
Well, so we have somebody who has that same situation, and it's so that they could use it during the day, and what they don't use during the day, they sell back.
Yes, but you're just as vulnerable to a grid down situation there as you are
because
just staying
you're
on the
attached
grid.
to the grid.
You're not creating any more freedom out of it. Yeah, if what you're doing is just trying to get some more currency in your life, you know, be able to sell.
They don't sell it. They don't. The exchange rate isn't the same.
No, you sell it for almost nothing, and then you buy it for a whole bunch.
You buy it back.
It's a scam.
More.
Yep. Hey, conservative friends. Good evening to you, Cheryl Seller. Good evening. Here you go. Here's your answer to the grass.
This year it is 10 feet tall. 10 feet?
That's
wow.
like two of you. I have those cedars around my house. They go up like a Roman candle in a wildfire. Ask me how I know. Yes, cedars absolutely burn up. You do not want them close to your house. When you look at the warranty, will that company be around to honor? So you have to take that into also. Solar seems to be a quick in and out business. Yep, Brett, I could not agree with you more. Could not agree with you more. The one thing about fast growing trees, some of them can be fast to fall or die as well. Yeah. Well, typically, in my experience, anything that's fast growing, as far as a tree goes, typically has a shorter lifespan, right? The slower growing trees are the ones that are here for hundreds and hundreds of years, you know. You see a lot here in Florida. You're basically just exchanging your electric bill for your solar bill, right? What's the point? I don't see any point. Now think about chain link fencing with melt lattice, 8 to 10 feet high. That'd be a good one. Let me see here. The way I look at it, my solar payment doesn't go up, but everyone's electrical bill has doubled. That's a good point. That's what I'm saying. If it's a currency issue, but if it's a currency issue, if it's a money issue, there's a point there. But it does not lessen your dependency on the system. You're still just as dependent, right? Because they can just turn it off. But this is a good point down in the homestead. Thank you for saying this. Because that's smart, right? Because her solar is the same and prices have gone up. I got an article for you guys I pulled here a little bit later. It'll blow your mind. Only problem with grass is that it'll die back in the winter. Cedars are evergreen. Yeah, I totally agree.
Yes.
Totally agree. Let me see what my next. Okay. You guys ready for a new topic?
Oh, you figured out how to see what's next.
I did. A lot of solar companies here sell systems that only send power back to the grid. Be aware, ask questions. I'm not interested in any of that. I just don't want to be in the system. And I'm not knocking anybody that does it. I mean, right on. More power to you. I'm glad you have solar, you know, but I'm not interested. I don't want to be any more part of the system than I have to be.
Well, we would have had to have paid for our grid tie as well. So we were like, let's forget that.
Would have been half the money, though, because batteries are where the money's at, right? The sad thing was the installer was at my uncle's funeral, told me that the company was managed poorly and was taken over by my brother-in-law's friend. Fencing with Star Jasmine grows fairly quickly, smells great. Bees love it. Bee would love that. Ken's got good solar info chat. Yeah, I'd really like to talk about solar. I'm by no means an expert in it. I mean, but I do live with it every single day. You know, we've been completely off grid for 4 years now. Is that right?
No.
How long have we been completely off grid? Since 2020, almost 4 years.
Oh man,
it's 4 years, babe.
Well, it's 2023.
It's right at 4 years.
July of 2024 would be 4 years.
Okay,
But
so
three and a half
years.
3 years. 3 years. Has it 3 years?
We can turn off our attachment to the grid as long as we can set up our battery. Yeah, see, that's smart. Make sure you got a system that'll take a battery because a lot of them don't, you know?
Yeah.
Tag, I like my Generac. You talking about a generator? You talking about the Generac, you know, power walls or whatever they're called? Whatever it is. Let me see. Head brushes grow like weeds and block the view and are almost impossible to kill. All right, guys. So I got something interesting for you guys to check out. I don't know how well you guys can read this. I'm happy to share this document. If someone, you have to email me to get it. But so I had an email sent to me. I can't say who I got it from, but I'm going to share the document with you guys. And this is from the Panama Canal. And I'd like to hear what your guys' opinion is on what it means. So here's the document right here. And if you look down at the bottom right-hand corner, I highlighted the Panama Canal Authority. So basically what this document says is that the Panama Canal, because of the droughts, can no longer process boats at the same rate that they're used to processing them through the Panama Canal. And in fact, if you look down in there, it says they've issued what's called a Condition 3. And that Condition 3 limits the boats through the Panama Canal to 14 a day. 10 big ones and 4 small ones are what's getting through. There's over 200 at the mouth of the Panama Canal trying to get through. Now, you're not seeing this reported anywhere. But again, this is the Emergency Management Incident Situation Report, right? Referenced by the Panama Canal Authority. And so what I find interesting, a couple things I find interesting about this is typically it costs about $400,000 to take a boat through the Panama Canal, but the open spots to get through can go up for auction, and they just broke the all-time record, and somebody paid $2.4 million
to get a boat through.
To get the boat through the Panama Canal.
You've got to be kidding!
No, isn't that crazy right there? See that name right there? I wish you guys could see my mouse.
Is that what's highlighted?
Yeah, so this highlighted right down here. So, isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
So let me see here. Now, this is something that just came out September the 5th, 2023. You can see the Tuesday. So it came out this week, or was updated this week. I guess it does say update on there, just to be fair, right? Let me get this one off there. But anyway, so what I'd be curious to know, I'm going to read some comments about this here a little bit. What we get here? Hey, Bigby, what's going on? It says gravity, solar, hot water, outdoor shower sink. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Yeah, Miley's talking about a generator. Yeah, I like ours too. We have one for our backup. Our local co-op state to sell power back to them. They had multiple requirements, including a $1 million liability policy. No, thanks. I'm out. Homestead Medical said, I've seen that. And I'm assuming she's talking about the letter from the Panama. I think it's a gigantic ordeal. I'd like to hear what you guys think that means. Like, how does that translate? Let's assume that it's true, right? Because anybody can type up a document, right? I didn't watch the Panama Canal Authority actually type this document. So, but it was from someone who I trust, at least. What ultimately will it mean, you know?
Johnny.
See, Brett Boyd says, I'm building a new house now and I'm spending 5% more to do zip and spray foam called High Performance. I would spend the extra money today, no doubt. Money is the land of make-believe, guys. I keep telling you this. I'd much rather have it in an asset. The Panama Canal Authority is code word for China. Yeah. Jules said she heard about that a few months ago. Yeah, Alex, I just got it and it's dated September 5th. Water levels, so expect supply delays. See, Homestead Medical, I think this is exactly right. And, you know, they can park on the East Coast and truck it to the West Coast, or park on the West Coast and truck it to the East Coast. But this is going to cause delays, but it's also going to cause prices to spike, right? It was mentioned and then glossed over a couple weeks ago. Okay.
I wonder what ship had to get through for
2.4 million.
Yeah. Ooh. I want to know what ship that was.
Yeah. I wonder if I could find it.
Evergreen ship.
I don't know. Might be an evergreen ship. I thought the ocean was rising. Well, here's the problem. It's not the ocean. It's apparently, and I'm just learning all these details. Apparently somewhere in the middle of the Panama Canal, they're using fresh water out of a lake. And 40% of the Panama people also get their water from this lake, their fresh water from this lake. And the drought has dropped the levels so much, they just can't be raising and lowering and all of that stuff. So this is what's caused them to do this, or at least that's what the article said. I've read they tried to revive the project to create another pass. Believe it was through Guatemala. I have not seen that. I have seen this gridlock for supplies. Yep. And we sold it for $1. Yeah. What was on that boat? Oil. Yeah. They were only taking appointments for boats. That's where the money is coming from. If no appointment, they sit and wait and hope. Yeah. And we sold the Panama Canal for $1. Yeah. We're so smart. Yeah. They don't use ocean water for the canal. Yeah. I did not know that until I was researching this. Yeah. And then they sold it to China. Yep. Everyone has been having problems getting parts to fix semi trucks and trailers. We're having problems too. getting oil filters.
That was on my list.
Yeah, it's becoming a problem just for the equipment that we have here on the farm. I just ordered 10 oil filters for my skid, or fuel filters for my skid steer, to just put them on the shelf. And I got them. Took me a little bit, but I got them. But
thank God, because we needed them. Needed one.
Yeah, this is China driving inflation by driving up goods. Yep, sounds like more control. Probably some person I trust. Probably same person I trust. Yeah, might be. I don't know. But let me see here. California ports were already a mess. This will make it worse. Yep. Logistics and distribution channels. How much people willing to pay? Well, there's some theories out there about this, Philippine Nomad, about purposely driving inflation so people can't afford things, so that things can then later be bought up cheap, which we'll talk about later as well. Another trap to control people. Thanks, Jimmy Carter. See, Ask Mitch M. His wife's dad is the big shipping mogul. Okay. And I'm getting behind. Makes perfect sense. Fill up the canal with your drinking water. Yeah, for China. A lot of truck drivers have been losing their jobs. Several trucking companies have gone under, and owner-operators are having a hard time making enough to stay in business. I've heard this as well.
Yep.
Okay, folks, time to go. Jules, good night to you. I'm getting stuff to acquire reloading brass. Yep. I think that having the ability to reload is critical. Because again, if they're going to have a hard time coming after, the actual guns themselves. I could absolutely see them taking on the ammunition. Hey, Potpourri sorry, wrong one. Potpourri for Life is in the house. Yep. Kelly says, good night, Jules. Let me see here. We are looking for lawnmower blades, laugh out loud. I actually think that's a good thing to have in stock. Make sure we got some extra ones, right? Big B. Yep. Grand winner right here. Smells like more inflation, which is important. I put these things in here on purpose to get to a point later on in the live, right? And so, Big B, very smart. Yep, I'm ordering multiples of everything. Yep. See here, supply shortage will continue to worsen. Stock up or wait and pay up. Yep, I seriously need to go buy bulk petroleum products vendor for a drum or two of various oils. Yeah, we're really lucky, blessed here where I live. I have an oil company that's less than 2 miles, 3 miles. How far do you think they are? 3 miles, maybe?
Not very far.
They're not very far from me. But I have big barrels. I have 500-gallon tanks outside my house that have diesel fuel and gasoline in them. And I have 4 of them. Only 2 of them are full. But we can also get 55-gallon drums dumped right off here anytime I want to. And one of the things I would like to get is an extra 55-gallon drum of hydraulic fluid. I know, right?
Cha-ching!
None of that will be fun.
I remember when that was like $39 a 6-gallon jug.
Yeah, those days are over, huh?
Yeah.
The canals is really 2 canals, one from each ocean meeting a lake in the middle. Yeah. It might be a way to get people used to supply line issues even more than we already are, easing us into emptier shelves. Then they can blame Panama and China and the West Coast winds. You know what's so crazy about that? I would totally buy it. That's the worst part. Yep, 1 is none and 2 is 1. I usually purchase 5, so I will have some. Yep. See here, shock and awe, frighten and worry us more. Yep, fear, 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 fear. Every news channel you look at is just covered in fear, right? Remember the recent UPS strike? Right. I just did an inventory on herbs as well as holistic remedies, all set for the cooties. Yeah.
Oh, good.
I would do some reading up on the Marburg virus, because there's enough things coming out on that. I'm going to talk about that a little bit too here in a minute. I wish I would have said that. I'd have waited. But anyway. So what do you think of the whole Panama thing, babe? Oops, sorry. I didn't mean to do that. What do you think about the whole Panama thing?
It's probably a way for them to make money.
Yep. I think that as things get more and more expensive, people are going to have a harder and harder time. Did you know that the Fed came out today and said that they're predicting the average American will have completely exhausted their savings by the end of October this year?
Are they saying this is a good thing?
This is a horrible thing.
So they're saying, this is a horrible thing.
No. It is a horrible thing, but they don't want you to have money in savings. They want you just spending it all the time because it keeps that economy moving.
So in their front, when they're talking about it, they're like, oh, and good news.
No.
People are bringing out their cash.
No, they don't say it's good news. They don't say it's bad news. They just say that's what they're belief is. I mean, I know they want people spending money, but once them savings are exhausted, once the credit cards are maxed, now what? Right? I mean, we're not the federal government. We just can't continue to print endlessly, endless amounts of money, right? We just can't do it.
No.
I mean, so I don't know. Let me see here. What do we got? Oops, sorry. Right there. I'm on Social Security. This is me running with my hair on fire. Yeah. Yeah. What is going on? Okay. We can't have two. That is so weird.
When you click it, it goes away.
Something. We can't have too much of anything. How much stock can I stock? Build bigger storage. Yep. Clearly. Postal Service associates not getting paid. Yet another way to screw the supply line. Where can I buy some bricks? I don't think it'll be long, Big B, and you'll be able to buy all the bricks you need. You know what he's talking about there, right?
No.
Okay. The BRICS currency, the
Oh.
Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa came together to build, a currency to compete with the dollar. Big B's being funny. I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
But
the first thing that came to my mind was piles of bricks, for rioting.
Yeah. Be aware, stocking up is not hoarding. Be organized so you know where everything is when you need it. Yep.
Eek! That's where my troubles come in.
You're not
organized.
You're not a disorganized hoarder.
I've got so much stuff still just miscombobulated
From moving?
Yeah.
Yeah. How long have we lived here?
I needed the electric knife, and I was like, I think it's in there. Might be over there.
Fun fact, I'm on vacation for the past week and a half. Half my workforce was sent home today with a cough. Yeah, we're going to talk about that too. Can someone please explain how raising interest rates lowers inflation? It did not work in the 70s and 80s, and it ain't working now. Yeah, so if the cost to borrow goes up, it discourages people from borrowing. It discourages people from expanding.
Yeah.
It discourages people from hiring more. It discourages people from buying that next level of equipment. So they say, right? But this is the theory behind it, is that it will slow the economy. That by raising the interest rates, you'll slow the economy. But that's not why they do it. They tell you that's why they do it. The reason why they're raising interest rates is because they've printed so much money that because they can't stop inflation, if they don't raise interest rates and the yields on bonds and treasuries, no one will want them. They're doing it to cover their own ass. They don't give a shit about the economy. They don't give a shit about what you're experiencing. They're doing it to cover their own ass so that they can remain the world reserve currency for just a few more days. Tag, I used to go to Panama for work, says Brett Boyd, and the ships always stacked up to go into the canal. Yeah. Well, I don't doubt that. I just found
Didn't they say 200 though?
Yeah, I said 200, and that might be normal. If we are just hearing about the canal problem, the powers that be have known for years. Of course they have. Yep. There you go. Philippine Nomad says, remember, support your local brick and mortars. Amen. Yep. Actually, I would encourage you not to buy online unless you have no other opportunity to get it. Try to get it somewhere. Because even if it's a chain, like O'Reilly's, let's say, for an example, there's someone hired there from your local community, right? Some of that money's still getting there. Let me see. I think postal workers not getting paid is a Fed's now startup glitch. Yeah, the Fed now. That's a whole nother thing, right? Mandy says she's a hoarder with a purpose.
Yes.
That'd actually be a good t-shirt. Invest in stuff that can reproduce. Great advice. I've got a friend of mine, and I hope you're watching because I have not addressed you yet, but I have this wood chipper. It's a DR wood chipper. It's a 20 horsepower. So it's a pretty good size one. It's not as big as my big one, but it's a pretty good size one. And new, they're about $3,000. I think it's worth probably $1,000 because it's used and old. It's in great shape.
It's in great shape.
Yeah, there's nothing peeling on it or anything like that. But anyway, he's been trying to trade me for it, and he originally offered me a bunch of freeze-dried eggs. And I'm like, dude, I got eggs coming out my ears. But there's another important thing too, which is it violates my rules of barter. Why it violates my rules of barter is because I do not want to trade a consumable in a non-consumable. If I have a non-consumable, I do not want to trade for a consumable because pretty quick that consumable is gone and now I have nothing. Right? So I'm not a big fan of that kind of thing. And so I always try to trade, if I'm trading a consumable, I look for a consumable. And if I have a non-consumable, I look for a non-consumable. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I didn't realize you were doing that though.
Yeah, I know there's a lot you don't realize, Pumpkin. Right? You know
I'm
this,
okay
right?
with that.
Okay. I have organized party on my to-do list. I'm horrible at keeping track.
Pantry.
Oh, pantry. Sorry, organize
the party. Yeah,
I like the party.
In the pantry.
On my to-do list, I'm horrible at keeping track. I just keep adding. Miley says, "Tag, what's on your list?" Man, I just got to one list, Miley. You would fit right in with the girls around here. You know that? We have Mussolini, we have Mao, we have Hitler, we have Stalin. We've got them all right here. Yeah, build your local networks for sure. Yeah, let me see here. Create income generating assets instead of expense depleting liabilities. That's perfect. Yep. In regard to Cough Cop, I didn't comply during the last sentence. I see zero compliance on the next one. That is good stuff right there, Tag. Yep. Okay, so let's should we go to the next picture? Since I think I'm all the way at the bottom. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Rock on. Okay. I never showed you guys this.
What'd you bring that up for?
Because this is such a great picture, and I've never showed it before, but I really wanted to show people because I think this is cool. So when I was up at the Anyone Can Farm experience up in Michigan, he had this table, and this is how he butchers chickens. And what he did is he took two stainless steel tables. Yeah, and he bolted them together, and then he ran this pipe, and you can see this pipe is cut out, and it's sitting at an angle, and you can see that it's in the right-hand picture. It runs down, which then goes into a bucket. And they put 4 people, 2 people on each side of the table with knives and all that stuff. And as they're cleaning, they're throwing the waste, right, down into that pipe. It's running down into a big trough, which then the trough gets fed to the pigs.
Is there water on this table? Because that stuff doesn't just run.
Yeah, he's got a spigot right there. Okay. I'm assuming they have a hose there.
Because that stuff is, you flick a, I don't know, chicken part in there and it's going to stick.
Yeah. I think this is just incredibly smart.
Did you see him using the table?
No, because when we were there, they were doing their event, but he had moved out from his butcher shop, all the stuff out, and was sat them all on the side of the building so we could use the butcher shop. That's where I spoke out.
Did he say anything about this table? Was he?
No, I told him when I was up there, I said, "Man, this is really, really smart." He just smiled at me.
Did he say it works?
Oh yeah. Yeah, they've got quite the butcher shop. But anyway, this was ingenious. 2 small stainless steel tables and a piece of PVC pipe.
And that looks like it comes off for cleaning.
It hooks. See how he cut that hook in there?
Yeah.
It just hooks on and then hooks off for cleaning.
Yeah.
Really, really smart, I think. Anyway, I thought I'd share that with you guys because I thought it was cool. All right, where are we at? Tag, I ordered some firearm cleaner and oil last Friday, and it still hasn't shipped. I went down to the company this morning and bought a case of each. The company is only an hour and 20 minutes from my place. See, we rock and we roll. Yeah, we got to get you a dictator's name. Let me see here. Where am I at? Yeah, one step closer says that's your genius. Yeah, it was really smart. Brett says, Tag, do you realize that China is by South America the same way they did Africa? And I could see that the channel could be a play to drive inflations on the greatest consumer nation, the United States. I agree with this, Brett, completely. There's actually a bunch going on here. I actually think there's several reasons why we have this driving thing of inflation. I think one, if they can drive inflation, they can crash the housing market. If they can crash the housing market, or first, let's make the houses where they're unaffordable. Then they can crash the housing market. They could buy it up cheap, no different than, Bill Gates buying all the farmland or BlackRock buying up all the houses. Remember, you'll own nothing and you'll be happy. And so I think this is all a big the new world order play. So I actually agree with you. Let me see here. That's an awesome idea. I have lots of chickens to process. I loved it. I just thought it was super, super smart. See here. Looks like IBC cage for table legs. You see here. Life done free. I identify as a sister of Bondike, a Celtic warrior queen from 60 AD. Do not comply. I got a theory about that. I was talking to Bea about it earlier. She looked at me like, "Oh, don't do that to me. Don't do that to me." Yeah, let me see here. Lots of old school Europeans give it to American ingenuity. Yeah, it was super smart. Yeah, awesome. Just a hose is all you need for that butcher shop. Yeah, and you could get a totally assembly line going. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
someone's killing, right? And someone's, putting it in the plucking machine, throws it up there. 4 of you just bam, 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 bam. It all goes into a tub, goes to the pigs, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And you could get this total process.
You'd have to have a bucket at the bottom.
A big bucket.
And like change it out.
A big bucket. Well, what I would like to do is they make some big plastic troughs that the skid loader picks up. That skid loader treads underneath it. And you could just park it. If you did it just right, you could just park it and fill it all the way full, and the skid loader could take it away. Then you're not even picking it up, That said, my daughter, 45 minutes for me, gets Amazon deliveries in a day, and we have to wait over a week. I ship stuff to her and just pick it up. That's crazy. Can you ask this person to do a YouTube demonstration on the chicken parts catching machine? I would love to see how it actually works. Mandy, I will do that for you. But if you go to the Anyone Can Farm experience, okay, Baker's Green Acres is the name of the farm. Mark is his name. And guys, I'm going to tell you, he's a warrior. He stood up to the FDA. This guy actually got sued by the FDA for selling raw milk and told him to kiss his ass, hired a bunch of attorneys and won, and they had to back down. And now he actually trolls them. He picks on them and says, hey, did you know that Mark Baker's still selling, whole milk or raw milk out the door? He's a warrior. Go to Baker's Green Acres, and if you get there, tell him Tag sent you. Make a comment, subscribe. He's a bigger channel than I am, but he's not super big. But he's fighting the fight every single day, doing it his way. He's absolutely someone in the warrior class, in my opinion. So if one of the mods are out there, can you guys put the Anyone Can Farm Experience YouTube channel or Facebook page or whatever it is, either one of them, in the chat, so that if people want to go check it out, you should go check out Mark Baker. Yep. Tell him Tag sent you. That way he knows where they came from.
What do they look under?
Go to YouTube and go to YouTube and type in Anyone Can Farm. Yeah. And it'll pop right up. Let me see here. Of course, they cook the raw chicken scraps before feeding it to the pigs. I have no idea. I don't raise pigs, but I just thought the table was as cool as could be. Let me see here. All it needs is a bucket for chicken feet. Yeah, that is cool. And I'll put the picture back up there while I'm answering questions here, right? Who was laughing in the background? Laugh out loud. Laughing in the background. TV, maybe? Is TV on downstairs?
Oh, I don't
know. There ain't nobody here but us, so I just don't think so. Let me see here. Faith might, they're talking to Skane's girl. Let me see. Mark is a real man. Yeah, Mark is he is a warrior, guys. I'm telling you. Yep. American Roots, thank you very much. Right there. Yeah, Baker's Green Acres, you guys. I went up there. He asked me to come speak, and I almost didn't do it because it's a long way and all that. But I decided to go ahead and go. I went up there and just had a great time. The community is great. All of the people I met were great. I met lots of friends. There are people in this chat right here today that came from that experience. And what I loved about him is he was just so inventive, and he was just figured it out. And he is, he's not the bubbly personality that I am, but I'm going to tell you, that is one smart guy, and he's very inventive.
Hippocrates said that is that the bottom part of an IBC tote?
It kind of looks like it, but
those are
kind of looks like it, doesn't it? He put this whole thing together just to make it easier, but I'm going to tell you that's smart.
Those are tables, and then he just used that smaller metal to screw.
He probably screwed it down to an IBC tote or whatever it was, stuck this thing in there. Just super smart.
So this is an IBC tote? You
I don't
saw
know.
The bottom of it?
I don't recall looking at it and saying it was an IBC, but remember, this was months ago, right? So, yep. Thank you, American Roots. Thank you. Yep. Yeah. Oh man, he says founding. Cool. Excellent. Yeah, make sure you tell him Tag sent you. He'll appreciate that. Let me see here. I hear you. Time and import taxes are big money. I now ship my U.S. purchases to my sis in Cali, and then she repacks and ships them back to me over here in the Philippines. It's all such a crock. All right, what else you got on your list? I've done like 4.
Geez. So
Michigan, half bubble off plum, Michigan. Go ahead.
The ducks and geese are now going to the pond by themselves.
Oh yeah.
And so I've learned that if it's bedtime for them and I just go over there and stand there for a few minutes, if I leave, they follow me. So at first I thought I was going to have to here's some food. Come out. Here's some food. That didn't work. But as soon as I walked away, they were like, "Don't leave me down here." Chased me back up to the coop. So I was able to put them away on time.
Yep.
After it, I sat there and called them 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 and called them, and
Yep.
they weren't coming. I'm like, forget it. Just stay out then.
Yep.
And I start walking away, and they're like, "No, wait, I'm coming." It's like, that's like kids.
Right. They're kids.
Yeah. They're like having kids.
Yeah. Dave and Sonia, which, by the way, I met Dave and Sonia at that event. Yeah, up there. And got to hang out, got to see their trailer, got to see their YouTube, got to just hang out and just sit around a fire and just chit chat. And now we've been talking and all that. So I met some great friends there. It was a really good experience. And if you guys ever want to go, they do it. I don't know how many times a year they do it up there in Michigan. It's a small event. So it was smaller than pretty much any of the other ones that I go to. But I'm going to tell you, it's super intimate. There's a lot of great conversations going on. There's a lot of hands-on going on. I think they control the size because they can keep it intimate like that. But I really enjoyed my time up there. I had a great time. It was worth it to go up there. I would absolutely do it again.
How long was it?
Well, I flew, so
no. How long? It was a
Saturday, Sunday.
Long?
Saturday and Sunday is when I
days.
was there. But it was just a great experience. Hey, thank you very much, Dana Hill. Appreciate it. I commented on the short. Jack Spirko trains his ducks to go to bed when he says time for bed.
How? I said time for bed. They didn't come out. But when I said, when I walked away, when I walked away, they followed me back.
Yeah. Baker's Green Acres or the Anyone Can Farm Experience, Barb, is in Michigan. Let me see. Check out what he does. Nicole has hers trained with whatever he does too and says it works wonders. I don't have a Wallapini yet. I'd love to. I saw a YouTube video of Jack Spirko did a duck calling. All ducks go to bed and they all follow each other to the coop.
I'll have to look at that.
Yeah. I figured why the rich are painting their places blue from the air. It looks like a pool. Oh, there you go. American Roots. There's the Anyone Can Farm Experience. That's what I'm familiar with. I'm not sure what goes on at Baker's Green Acres as far as the YouTube channel goes, but I think you have to train them at least a week before they get used to your calling.
Yeah, as I was standing down there going, we had them for quite a while, and I had, corralled them over there so many times, and even right into the water, I have to kind of push them in. And I did that so many times.
And they didn't want to go to the pond.
They did not want they didn't want to be over there.
But do you suppose now they go into the pond because the geese are in there with them? Geese are protective. I mean, look at what old Violet found out today about messing with geese.
I don't know.
I don't either.
But I don't know what has changed, but when we let them out, that's where they want to go. And they come back several times. So they come back and kind of walk around, and then they go back to the pond. Then they come back and walk around, and then they go back to the pond. Mm-hmm. So they're not just staying down there the whole time.
Yep. Okay, Nomad, you have yourself a great weekend, bud. Yeah.
So I will look into that and see if there's something that what they're doing. Because as I'm standing there going, be careful what you ask for. Yeah. I'm sitting here going, come on, ducks. And when I call them, they usually come to me. Mm-hmm. The geese do for sure. Mm-hmm. They were not.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, they would swim past me and then turn their butts towards me. And the boy, lifts his tail way up high, and he just put his butt towards me and just stayed there with his butt towards me. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Come on, it's bedtime. Come here. Here's some food.
Yeah, her problem is she's too nice to him, I think. She talks to him. They all talk back to her. She feeds them. She does all of these things. I don't have any.
Too nice to them?
Yeah, because they push you around a little bit.
No,
I think
they love
do.
Me.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't run from them. I'm not afraid of them. They don't, except for Ryan. So Ryan
male
is
goose.
Our male goose, and he So just, I don't know what he was doing. I thought we were fighting. I called the neighbor and I said, I think that Ryan and I had our fight, our first fight. So he came up and he was coming up towards me and I was petting him, and he was fine with me petting him. And then he put his beak down towards my hand, and I moved that hand. So I put my other hand up and I was petting him. And then he put his beak on that hand, like towards that hand. So I switched to the other hand. And then I was like, okay, fine, dude, you don't want me to touch you? I'll stand up. And so when I stood up, he turned towards me and kind of started walking towards me. And so I put my boot up, not to kick him or anything. I just put my boot up. And he took his beak and he bit down onto my boot. And he was just sitting there and holding my boot in his mouth. And I was like, what are you doing? Get off of my shoe. What? Get off. And so I like pushed his face. And then he like backed up. But then he was like, I'm going to get your boot. And he came back and he bit my boot again. And I'm like, okay, what are we fighting? What? And I could tell he was like biting harder and biting harder and biting harder. And he was like shaking his face when he was biting. And then the dog came up and was like, no, and got between us. And I was like, get to the house. Get to the house. Don't run. Don't run. Go to the house. Don't run. Go to the house.
And this is why you have an issue.
And then I called the neighbor and he was like, well, was he hissing at you? And I said, no. And he said, well, was he like, was his wings up? And I said, no. And he said, well, maybe he was preening you. And I'm like, what? And he goes, like cleaning you. And I was like, it felt a little hard to be biting, I mean, I'm not sure how.
Vicky says, so when B turned her butt to them, they followed.
Yes.
Maybe they've learned. Maybe you just got to show them your butt.
I don't know. I don't know what. I'm hoping it is that easy. We're only on day 2 of like, hey, bedtime. We're going to bed. Come on. So anyway, I don't know if Ryan and I were fighting. I don't know.
I think Faith's got it right.
I don't know. I don't know if I have 2 boys or 2 girls. I think the one is a boy because he's doing the whole like lifting his tail and he's honking. Mm-hmm. And the other one is not yet. Mm-hmm. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure if we were fighting. I'm not sure if we're still friends. No, we're friends.
You're friends?
Yeah. Because well, he followed me today and I got him in his pen by myself. I mean, I didn't have to chase him around 7 times like normal. I just showed him the food and was like, if you want it, you got to come in here. And he walked all the way around and came on in. Mm-hmm. But I was sure to get out before he came in because I didn't want any issues. So maybe that's what you're talking about and being pushed around because they don't want any issues. Yeah.
Because what's funny, guys, and I'm going to move on to the next topic, but they don't do that to me.
No, you like stomp and push around.
I'm the boss. That's why. See, babe, here's the thing with animals. They're simple. And when they come at you, if you back up, they're the alpha. That's the thing. When he comes at me, I'm just going to drive right into him. I'm going to push him. I'm going to push him. I'm going to push him until he gets out of my way because I'm the boss. It's not complicated. And because you don't do that, which is why you have more issues.
No, I didn't need to go anywhere.
It doesn't matter when they, look at this. You have a goose boyfriend, B. B has an alpha butt. Carrie Davis, awkward.
Yeah.
There you go, Brett. Stop babying. See, this is what I'm talking about. It's exactly what I'm talking about. You'll have way less problems and they will not mess with you. I'm telling you, if that goose ever comes at me,
if he bit your boot, you hit him?
Probably not going to hit.
What are you supposed to do?
Probably not going to hit him, but what I'm going to do is push him around.
Yo, I'm going to walk right towards him.
I'm going to push him and push him. I'm going to make him back up. I'm going to make him run away from me. Yeah, Leatherholm says to get her big stick. Yeah, it's funny when we go out to get that. I'm always carrying a big stick, and she doesn't. Anyway, ready for the next topic, baby?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about our normal degradation of society. So in news today, backlash as drag queen hired as school principal in Oklahoma, says the Daily Mail.
Oh man.
An elementary school in Oklahoma is facing a huge backlash after hiring a drag queen as a school principal, with the superintendent denouncing the decision as complete insanity. Ryan Walters, who is pictured on the left, superintendent of the state of Oklahoma, has called for immediate termination of the drag queen who goes by the name Chantel Mandalay. What do you think of that?
Yep.
This is just crazy to me. We've lost our mind. You know, they say that as a society falls, and I've said this many, many times, that the laws and the things that go on get more and more, outlandish. Yep. Yep. Brett says, put your boot in his ass. I could not agree more.
Kick him?
Kick him, push him. You don't want to hurt him, but what you want to do is you want to assert that you're not going to put up with that behavior and that you are scarier than they are. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just critical.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my heavens, that's not cool. We don't need that type of stuff in our schools. Yep.
Oh my heavens.
Oh my God, hanging my head in shame. I think this makes me sick. He might like that. No way, Jose, says Mandy. I would take my child out of school, guaranteed. If they do that in Oklahoma, then they'll do it in Kansas. Yep, amen. Dogs are the same and they respect authority, 100%. Yep. Are we still talking about geese? Yep. Only in America do people celebrate mental illness.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. He has a record too. Yep. I couldn't believe that. That was just like, when I seen that,
I'm
record. Like, oh my goodness. I just couldn't believe it. Oh, I better get moving. We're already an hour and 31 minutes. All right, ready? All right, next topic. So this was interesting. So mask mandate update. So mask mandate update as the first Republican state brings back the restrictions. Right, which I found interesting. And I purposely wanted this article because it talks a lot about, and this is in Alabama, but talks about the first Republican state to bring it back, right? But what I thought that was awesome was that right after that, let me get rid of this here real quick. So Texas Governor Greg Abbott recently signed legislation barring any government agencies from enforcing mask mandates in the state of Texas. In Arkansas, in a post to X, Arkansas Governor Sarah Huckabee said, as long as I'm governor, Arkansas will never lock down.
Yep.
Governor Ron DeSantis has opposed mask mandates and COVID-19 restrictions since 2020. And this goes on in Florida. In Oklahoma, Governor Ken Stills said that Oklahoma didn't do mandates or lockdowns in 2020. They're not going to start now. South Carolina said Governor Henry McAllister spoke to the residents Thursday about the possible return to mask mandates through the U.S. and vowed to oppose such action. Utah, Governor Spencer Cox and the Utah Department of Health and Human Services announced that they have no plans for the state to return to masking requirements. And this one really got me. I love this one. Huntington Beach, California on Wednesday. City council members in Huntington Beach voted to pass a declaration that bans universal mask mandates in the city. In California, right? Amazing, right? Just absolutely amazing. Let me see. Bobby come in the house and I didn't see him. Oh, Bobby's bags out there. Talking to somebody else. Got it. Okay. Let me see here. What do we got here? All I have to say about this perversion way of thinking is God will have the last say. Yep, a Republican. That is surprising. It's actually not surprising to me. I talk about this all the time. I think they're the Republicrats. They've got you convinced that the two slave lords that we get to serve is anything different. And behind the scenes, they're just laughing at all of us. Republicans ain't no better than the Democrats. The Democrats at least say it. The Republicans just lie and hide behind it, right? Masks go on, crimes go up. Coincidence? Mm-hmm. Yep, yay for Arkansas. Love Sarah Huckabee, even though he's in Florida. But yep, Governor of Alabama, but Fayetteville will probably require the masks, says Kerry Davis. Yep, the only reason for a mask is if you are ill and caring for a compromised individual. Yep, I thought this was super interesting. I want to check what my next one is, make sure I'm on the road. Because this one's going to be interesting, right? Let me see. I saw some masks with cigarette holes already poked in them. Yep, Utah didn't do masks the first month last time. Didn't do masks. So I was doing some thinking about this whole mask mandate thing, and I'm pretty sure that they're not going to do it the same way they did it last time. And, and we're going to talk about this in a little bit too, but so what else could possibly be out there? And so I started doing a little digging to say, is there anything else that, because you guys remember COVID, they warned us about it long in advance, right?
Yes.
And is there anything else, right, that's going on out there? Because, what if they said, hey, what a great way to get rid of everybody who stands up against the government. Let's convince them the mask is bad, right? And then let's send something real down the pipe, right? I'm not supporting mask mandates, just so you guys know. But anyway, so I found this interesting. So I was doing some digging. So if you look right up here on the top right-hand corner, New York City Health and Hospitals lead multi-agency training exercise for Marburg virus as an Ebola-like disease. This is really important. So I don't know if you guys know much about Marburg virus, but Marburg virus is a brother to or sister to Ebola. And so they did this big old thing about, trying to prepare for this outbreak, because if you go back in time, Africa's had some Marburg virus outbreaks. There's been some things going on. But then I started thinking it was interesting enough on the top left-hand corner, Burning Man lifts lockdowns as thousands of concert goers begin the exodus from the Nevada desert. Followed by USA Today, no reports of Ebola outbreak in connection with Burning Man. Because what a great way to spread something.
They were locked down.
They were locked down. Then they said it was because of the rain, but you put 70,000 people in there at the same time that hospitals are doing Marburg virus drills. I find this fascinating. Maybe I'm weird, but.
And then people who were using the mask last time, and then they go, I'm not doing it this time. And then now there's something that's.
Yeah. So what do you think about that?
I guess time will tell, right? This was August 3rd of 2023.
Hey, Cyber Farms has been proudly sporting my Life Done Free and freestanding t-shirts this summer. Hey, nice. Awesome. I've got 2 new ones coming out. One is a New Level, New Devil t-shirt, and another one is Make Washington Irrelevant Again. So we got some new ones for you coming. Yeah, Mandy says it doesn't matter what kind of virus they bring. I think as long as you are living healthy lifestyle and eating food you grow, then your body should be able to handle it. Right? Well, Mandy, let's keep going on this story because it doesn't end here. So where's my next one at? Okay, so if you look, now I went back into time. So this article here is from April 6th of 2023. And CDC warns doctors to watch out for Marburg virus amid outbreaks in 2 African nations. Right? Mirko Press down here said the World Health Organization concerned over possible outbreak of Marburg virus disease. I don't know if you guys know much about the Marburg virus, but depending on which article I read, the death rate was 44 to 88%.
Oh, man.
Like it's a big one, right?
Did it say for all humans or elderly, sick, babies?
Yeah.
Nothing? Just all people?
Yeah, that's what it said. But again, yeah, interesting, right? Let me see here. Let me get back up here. Here we go. Life Done Free Christmas t-shirts. Thank you. Hey, speaking of Christmas, I did a Christmas Carol last year.
Yes.
Right? I did. Which one did I do? Remember? Santa Claus is Coming to Town?
Yes.
Yes, but I obviously turned it into Life Done Free version of it. I'm going to do another one this year. I'm trying to figure out which one. Anyway, RN, that's somebody. Government has no right to mandate anything to my body. Yeah, but they can regulate the people that I do business with. I think a private business is free to do whatever they want, and they're free to suffer the consequences, both of their good decisions and their bad decisions. I thought about it'll be the Cat in the Hat before it'll be a pussy in a mask shirt. But that may be a bit much. You see, according to one source I heard, the jab contains a dormant Marburg virus that will be triggered by a cell signal through 5G towers. This is interesting, guys. The Marburg virus, I'm hearing more and more and more about it. And I don't know, maybe it's just me because of what I went through with COVID. You guys know COVID's very personal to me. I lost my career over it. But it just seems to be there's more and more stuff about it. And I think New York City's health system running a big drill on it just post Burning Man being locked down with 70,000 people and reports of a potential Ebola case at Burning Man, who they're saying now is debunked. However, I find all of that super, super
They
fascinating.
said that what part of it was debunked?
They're saying that there was no reported Ebola case, but there was reports coming out of there was a possible Ebola case. But they locked them down, they said, because of the mud. You ever seen
They
anybody
don't want
locked
to
down?
spread the mud.
Mud.
Yeah, they don't want the mud to go back to.
Have you ever heard of anybody being locked down because of mud?
It was muddy.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't want it to transfer.
I don't know. Burning Man, the wet sand gave alkaline burns to people. Good way to make people paranoid about a possible outbreak or to hide an infectious event. Yeah, Richter said Silent Night. I'm going to do one. I don't know what yet, but let me see here. I still see people riding around with a mask on. Yeah, all by themselves in the car, which is so silly. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. It's the one I originally thought American Roots, because it's beginning to look a lot like and fill in the blank of all the shit we went through, right? See, Marburg, 2 to 21 day incubation. This is interesting, right? So they have Burning Man. There's 70,000 people. They put them on planes. People go to Burning Man from all over the globe.
How long were they locked down?
Anybody know that? I don't know off the top of my head. But wouldn't that be interesting? You could put them on a plane and 21 days later.
Boom.
Boom. Yep. Got bleach. That's a good t-shirt, actually. That's what happened to us in WPB. Governor declared it no, but the local government fined small business if they caught people without a mask.
Oh.
Burning Man had people from all over the world. See, this is what I'm talking about. It kind of lines up, right? A little bit. Would you guys agree? It kind of
sounds like a storm.
Yeah, it kind of lines up. Yeah, I don't know, man. Anyway, let me see. Been hearing that with the permafrost thawing, some viruses that may have been extinct for thousands of years come back. I heard that too. Yep. Joy to the free man. Oh, joy to the world. Right? Yeah. Burning Man, that was spray or was it rain? Let me see.
Well, there's that.
Got vitamin I and Sweet Annie tincture. Oh, wait, Big B. Sorry, they've been talking to me. Sorry. That's not the only burn they got. Right. See, they were stuck there for a week after the event was planned to be over, I think. Right. So that's at least 2 weeks.
Like 3 days,
right?
6 days.
But they were quarantined. They were locked down for like 3 days. Oh, Rick says it was 6 days. Tag Gamma was ran over by a reindeer. Grandma got ran over by a reindeer. Right. Patriots got ran over by some tyranny. But anyway, I find this super, super interesting. Let's see what my next one is. And of course, I wanted to follow up my conspiratorial thoughts of the virus with be prepared. Biden is setting stage for another round of COVID lockdowns. I know you guys have heard this. This was August the 28th. Vaccines are coming out in September. You've also heard this. This is the new one, right? Biden administration urges Americans to get COVID. And then Biden was quoted as saying, I signed off this morning on a new vaccine that is necessary and that works. It will likely be recommended that everybody get it, no matter whether they've gotten it before or not. Of course, right? Let me see here. My massage therapist allowed us to choose if we wanted to wear a mask. I just had to walk in with one in the event they were being watched. Oh, I'm sorry. Banquet of Consequences. Vitamin I is ivermectin. I like that. That's a t-shirt too. You writing all these great t-shirt down ideas?
No.
Oh my goodness, where have you been?
Just sitting here enjoying my evening.
All right, let me see here. No more excuses to stock up on more tincture. Amen. Yeah, don't you think the first set of shots just lowered the immune system so they could catch the newest one? I would buy that. I would absolutely buy that. How about that one?
The number 6th day?
The 6th day, 666. They were quarantined for 6 days.
Oh.
And that works. So he's saying the others didn't? Yeah. Huh. Gain of function is the new nuke bomb. Smells like election season. Yes, it does. And you know what? I think it's very interesting, Big B. You said that. You've been smart a couple times tonight. You're always smart, but a couple right in a row. And I'll show you my next slide, and I'll show you why. New York City is having a major homeless migrant problem right now. 100,000 migrants all over the city.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. Yep. T-shirt, please. All right. So here's the next one. So I have a question for you guys. So remember, we asked you guys which block you wanted. I have another one. I want to know which one you guys would prefer. So this is my two theories. So they wait to do the lockdown until June or July so they can do mail-in voting, because mail-in voting would make it very easy to control the election, right?
Yeah.
But I've recently heard a lot of reports to law enforcement places all over the country that the Department of Homeland Security and FBI and some of the others have said that they expect a large uptick in civil unrest, and that these departments should be ready. And you guys can Google this, is everywhere, right? So the other thing is, if you did the lockdowns now, you could create that civil unrest, which would give you a chance to cancel the election.
And you think that if they did it now, they could cancel it?
Well, it's all about
next year.
Well, except here's the thing: it takes time to get through all that. You got to go through several months of lockdowns. You got to get people pissed off enough to be in civil disorder. Take a longer ramp in item number 2 versus item number 1. And so I'm curious from you guys: do you think 1 or 2 is most likely? Laugh out loud, Big B. You're kind of smart sometimes. Maybe laugh out loud. Ha. Life done free. You just need to relax after your vacation. I know, right? I need a vacation. I worked really, really hard today, and I didn't get no dessert for it. None.
Hey, you got dessert the other night.
Quit living in the past. Quit living in the past.
He had somebody bring him an entire tiramisu. Like an entire one. And he ate it all.
Living in the past. 12 Days of Freestanding. That'd be a good song.
Oh.
Right?
That would be a good song.
They won't cancel election if civil unrest starts soon. So yeah, CDC said the jabbed are more susceptible to the latest strain of Wuhan boogie. Yep, tag. The Christmas shirt could show the text "Joy to with the planet" that has the free man on the planet graphic. I like that. Yeah, Barb says number 2. I expect number 2, says Potpourri, but don't let them win. Keep calm. Carry on. Yep.
Yeah.
They need to be actively dangerous for anyone to accept an election cancellation. That's exactly right. It would have to be a significant ordeal, right, for number 2 to happen. But I mean, the thing I would have told you 2 weeks ago that number 1 was the only way. We have nothing to worry about until sometime later in the year. The election's too far off. They're not going to do it right now. But then I started reading a lot of the stuff that was going on with law enforcement and all this stuff about, hey, watch out for this, watch out for this. So it kind of made me think, well, maybe, Barb says, live in today. Yep. Unrest. Let's vote for number 2. Let me see. Did you see the clip where Karen Pierre said that we would have to get used to the fact that our fundamental rights are being taken away? Yes. Yes. And this is kind of what I'm saying, right? That there's a bunch of this stuff kind of lining up right here that really, really kind of points, See, Big B, only 2 choices. Smells like election season. Yeah, I should have put the Republicans on the top and the Democrats on the bottom, right? Pray for peace, prepare for war. That's pretty good advice. Voting is selected. Yep, number 2 is very possible. Let me see. Then have you heard of the Black Sky Drill? You know what? I heard of it. I just caught the top clip of it earlier today, but I have not watched it, Carrie. So I cannot speak on it intelligently because I haven't spent any time in it. And if a few states cancel it, it will blow it all up. Yep. See, the ranks of law enforcement military have been thinned to the compliant for a few years now. Yeah. Now they want them to prepare for civil unrest. Oh, I believe they're expecting civil unrest now. I just don't think that some soon to happen event will cancel it until next November. Mm-hmm. See, that's the only way, but I think to the other point, Faith, earlier, and I don't remember who said it, so I apologize, but to the other point, the only way they're going to get away with canceling election, it's got to be gigantic.
Yeah.
It can't be something small. So that's going to need build-up time, right? So it would have to, I would think, at least begin the process. I don't know. They might be preparing to control the primary rather than the general election. Also, good point. Let me see here. Number 2, think back when some people predicted the last election was the last one that makes you, yeah. Remember there were people back then that said the last election was the last one? Makes you wonder. Yep. Hey, my buddy Ghetto's in the house. I think our election is and has been a psyop for decades. It's been a selected president from the beginning, so they don't care about mail-in or not. Yep. Hello, Mr. Tag and Miss B. Super happy to have you, bud. That will use both. They are dispirited. Black Sky is on the 4th. Yeah, Barb, I'm just not up to speed on it. You know, guys, I know I get on here and we talk about news.
What is it?
I'll have to look it up, babe, and go through it. You know, like I said, I seen the headline and we'll watch it. We'll do it tonight. Okay.
Black Sky.
Yep. On the 4th. Let me see here. Anyway, what I was saying is, you guys, I you know, if I hear something interesting, I write it down for the live and then I research and put it in here. But the fact of the matter, we really spend all of our day in concrete and chicken shit, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's really what we do. There's a lot of poking the bear right now. Civil unrest is probable. 520 million going to Ukraine for green energy. Your money, your taxpayer dollars, when you're living paycheck to paycheck, right? Man, I don't know why in the world anybody would be saving money when they're just printing it. Makes absolutely no sense to me. Remember, Hitler did not take power. It was handed to him for safety and stability. Then once he had it, all hell broke loose. Yep. Let me see here. Look what happened in the last election. We didn't react at all. Neither side actually reacted. Only online did we use our voice about it. They have us corralled on here for a reason. Yes, they do. I missed one. Sorry about that. Banquet. I absolutely. Arbor. What's trying to say here? When the elites talk about democracy, we are a republic. Yes, we are. Where are we at here? Right there. Vicky says, here's another one. Oh, come all ye free men. That's actually a really good one. The problem is that requires actual singing. Which, you guys, that's not me. You know, right? Because that's more of a song versus Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Right. Anyway.
Is a tune or a jingle?
Yeah, well, it's just one I can talk through and give it a little bit of tune. I don't have to sing. Oh, come Ollie. Right? I mean, all bad. Just all bad.
Do it. Do it.
No. I think the illegals will rise up before the election to start a civil war and no elections. Hey, Simpler Times. Welcome. Yeah, we've had an interesting live tonight. We've been all over the place, but it's cool. Leather Homestead, big charcoal day on Saturday. Good night, all. Good night, bud. We'll be in touch. We need to do a video. I just been swamped, right? Big B says we need to prove the corrupt election system. There's currently a $10 million reward. Yeah, good luck proving it. Right? Epstein, not Epstein. Never mind. I heard by dawn going out, Trump will be out, Harris is president for a short time, and Obama in the backup to rise up. Wouldn't shock me a bit. Yep, they're still arresting folks for January 6th, which was a hoax all by itself. RN, good night to you.
4 a.m.
They talk about our democracy. I believe they mean demon rat party. Yeah, I would agree.
That's what she wrote.
Yeah, that's badass. All right, let's go. What's my next? Let me get rid of this here real quick. Left that up. What's my next one here? Oh, yeah, this is an interesting article that I got from in Texas. Check this out. So this was today, and this was on Fox News. Today, Texas power prices soar 200 or 20,000% as brutal heat wave sets off emergency.
Oh, my God.
I know, right? Texas power prices soar 20,000% Wednesday evening amid another brutal heat wave. Spot electricity prices topped $5,000 per megawatt hour, up more than 200 times from Wednesday morning. So this was just yesterday. The state's grid operator issued the second highest energy emergency, and then later conditions returned to normal. Look at that. Man, could you imagine?
That's
thank you.
Quite an increase.
Well, it's a huge increase, but this is the thing. We talk about this all the time. This is why you have your own power, right? Because when you have to ask permission for your power. This is what you're subject to, right? You have to say, may I please? With interest rates going higher and higher and higher, and insurance premiums going higher and higher and higher, right? And they give you some catastrophe that caused it. They create some boogeyman, right, that caused it. With food prices continuing to go up, medical costs are going up. You know, buying tires, you bought tires lately, they're more expensive. Yeah. Fuel's going up. Everything's going up. You know, every one of those things that you have to go ask permission for is a vulnerability to you. It's just an absolute vulnerability. And so I think the challenge is, how do we, you know, get to a spot, right, where we have less vulnerability? You know, how do we take it to them a little bit by taking our own power and our own control back? Yeah, Ghetto says, stop there. Obama's being controlled as well. Well, they all are. Yeah, they're really floating Harris as a president this week. It's coming soon. Oh, my God. Could you imagine? Oh my gosh. Wow. And then I think Michelle will be her vice president, and then something will happen to Harris. No. I thought they'd do it to Hillary, but she's too old now. I love you guys. This is one reason I have solar, same payment. Yep. And you know what, down in the homestead, thank you for reinforcing that with me, right? I really appreciate that, because that is a clear value to doing it that way. You know, I don't want to be tied to the grid. I'm not personally going to do it, but your point is super, super taken and smart. My son died last September. I'm sorry to hear that, Faith. He'd have been 18 this coming December. I plan to follow up with Illinois to make sure that his name isn't being used for voting. I'm so sorry. That's so sad. Let me get here. Eagle Lover. What's Eagle Lover I got to say here? There we go. Oh, sorry, I had to double tap it. They aren't talking about what we have to pay. It took more fuel to keep it all going due to this incredible heat. It's incredible, guys. Man, if you have money sitting in a 401k, which, you know, IRS section 401-K, right? You got money sitting out in a 401k or in those kind of things, and yet you're paying this 20,000% increase in power. Man, do something about it. Right? At least one you control. Yeah. The other one, I think, take that money from you anytime they want to.
That's the thing. That
anytime
it's a
they want to.
Promise of a money leader.
It is. It absolutely is. You know, I thought that tonight I would do you guys a solid. Wouldn't Kamala be a better psyop than decaying old man we have in office now? Yeah, I don't know. They're the same. Anyway, I thought I'd do you guys a solid. I mentioned to One Step Closer, because he's a really smart guy, and he's been, he's benefited our community a lot. But when we went through this whole exercise of what were we dependent on and where did we have to ask permission to, we created a thing called the Ungovernable Score. And you guys have heard me talk about it before. And it's been a little while since I shared it. So I want to just kind of to show you guys, if you guys want this, all you got to do is email me and I'll email it to you. You can also go to my website, lifedonefree.com, and it's actually on there and you can download it there too. But what I wanted to show you guys is just kind of how it worked. And if I was you guys, I would absolutely create something that helps you track where you're at and helps you track what you're dependent on. And so the Ungovernable Score, the first page of it, allows you to put in numbers that total 100 based upon these standards, which is shelter, food, water, security, medical health, energy, financial, transportation, and community. And so you get to divide 100 points any way you see fit. Okay? Then the negative factors of chronic illness, chemical dependency, other addictions, bad habits, unresolved mental issues, you get to log in. Do you want any of them to have a negative impact on your score? Okay? So once you put this in, it automatically goes over to this page. And now, like for shelter, for example, do you have a mortgage? See, I didn't have a mortgage, so you could, in my particular case, I would get all of the points. But anyway, you go through and fill this out. Food, what are you growing? How much of your food are you growing? It really kind of tackles all of the things that we have to ask permission for. And then when you get to the end of it, right, it will calculate for you all of the digits in there, and it'll tell you right where you're at. So this person, whoever I did this for last, is pretty squared away. They scored a 75.3, which made him a community leader. But see these colors up here? So the reds are what they need the most to work on. The oranges next, the yellows next, the greens, right?
That's a good idea.
Yeah. So like this particular person, the 55%, the lowest one was in the financial world.
Which means what?
Which means he probably had debt.
Okay.
right? I don't know. I don't remember.
So the darker the green, the better.
The darker
light
the green, the better,
then-
right? But this tells me hey, this is what I got to keep working on,
Yeah,
right? Which to me is super helpful,
that's a good idea.
Yep. Let me see here. Vicky says that's what we use to upgrade our solar. Amen. I think it's smart. I would much rather have my money in an asset than have it somewhere else, like the stock market. 10% now to withdraw from retirement or 100% increase in the cost of board. This is the point. The instigator is 100% correct, right? Kamala's bad news. Yep. I don't plan to vote this year because it's just a waste of time. Hey, Randy, good evening to you. Yeah, Banquet of Consequence says, got it, tag. Yeah, good. Use it. Big B, we appreciate you. Yep. Eagle Lover says, Mandy, please vote. If we all didn't vote, then we could never make a change. You can't. But the question is, can you make a change of voting? Right? I mean, look at all this stuff. Are you really telling me, Eagle Lover Texas, that Joe Biden's the most popular president in the history of the world?
Yes.
Really?
He got more votes than any other president.
Okay, I'll just leave it right there. As long as the only choice is Dem versus Republican, there is no change. Yes, I'm sorry to hear about your son too. Yeah, see here. All right, cool. I'm caught up. So anyway, guys, I would encourage you guys to you're welcome to use this. You can download it for free. Don't cost anything. I don't need your email address. I don't care. Whatever. You can just go to the website and download it or just build your own. But at the end of the day, track it and really push the boundaries. So like if this was me and I was right here, I would really work on that financial part. This told me what my weak spot was, right? It told me.
The financial and
right.
The transportation.
Right. So like look at the top B. See how it says shelter? Out of a possible 150 points, this person scored a 121, which would tell me they probably didn't have a mortgage. I don't remember going through it. Out of 150 total points in food, they scored a 106.
Did you just start clicking things? Or did somebody turn this in?
This is someone who asked me to help them with it. This was theirs.
Okay.
I went through it with them. I don't remember who it was. Who knows? But my point that I'm trying to make is that see the negative factors down here. They deducted 15 points from their score.
For what?
Maybe they were a drinker or a smoker or a whatever. I don't know. I don't remember what it was back
or
then.
A mental health diagnosis.
Yeah, I don't know what it was, but whatever it was.
Or undiagnosed, right?
Yep. My point is, everybody, is that this will absolutely help organize the whole thing and help make it a little bit simpler. Guys, we cannot be dependent for everything. If you have to ask permission for everything, this is going to be really, really hard for you. Yep, really, really hard. Let me see where I'm at here. I'm not voting selection. Of course I'm not, Eagle Lover. Okay, Eagle Lover. So you say, of course you're not saying that Biden was the most popular president, but that's what the vote said. So you're saying we need to go out there and vote. But I respect it. I've got lots of really good friends who we go round and round on this very, very topic.
You used to harp on me for not voting.
Yep. But you cannot convince me that was the result. You just cannot convince me of it. But that's what the vote said. So it's hard for me to get motivated to go and vote in a federal election, a national election, right? When that's what they're telling me. Now I'm going to go vote for my local sheriff. That makes sense to me, school board or something like that. Why do they use
a different counting system?
Babe, I'm not even sure that ain't totally rigged. I don't know. But I'm saying that certainly makes more sense, Yep. Don in the Homestead says, I will vote. It may not matter, but they won't stop me from casting my ballot. And that's a fair argument.
Right. And that's it.
Yep. Vote local. Agreed. Always exercise what rights you have left. Yep. Got to be asleep to be able to have the American dream. Voting, among other things, are a tradition at this point, sadly. Mandy says, I've been voting in every election, but the last one showed me that Biden win the election, not by people voting, but they cheated to win the election. It wasn't the result. You know what is going on, Tag, unless you are researching the wrong stuff. Okay, but here's the thing, Eagle Lover. The result of the election was Biden was the most popular president in the history of the country. The result. Who's president right now? Who took the office? Right? I mean, excuse me. I'm all excited. I get all excited. Go ahead.
Biden got the Farm Ranch Homestead says Biden got the most votes, but I don't believe they were legitimate. I don't believe they were legitimate either.
Yeah, this one right here, babe. I put it up for you.
There is
There's no
There's
two-party
no
system, just blood-sucking government and us hardworking people.
Well, I read the
Barden
next
got the
one.
most votes, but I don't believe they were legitimate. Okay, so you can't, it's hard, farm, ranch, homestead. It's hard to make the argument that your vote
to
counts.
go and vote if
Right.
you don't think that they voted correctly in the first place.
Just remember, in some places, people literally risk their lives to vote. It's a fair argument. I will support locally, but not on the federal level. Let me see. Voting is screwed, but I will still try and vote.
Laugh out loud. B sees it coming. Thank you, Faith. Yeah.
Yep.
Right there.
I know, and what is going on now? Yeah, it just makes it hard to. It makes it hard for me to go care about it.
You got a tickle in your throat, don't you?
Oh, yeah. Got me all excited. Got me all excited.
I know. And what is going on now?
Let me see. If you don't vote, and then during the vote counting delay, they will find your name on a list of eligible but did not vote, and still your non-vote. That's a good point.
Well, they were taking votes from people who were.
Yep.
Who were
The thing is, if you don't
deceased.
vote, and then they're just going to vote for you because you didn't vote, what does it matter? If I do vote, then they're going to do it anyway, and however way they do it, right? So help them cheat a little less. I don't know.
That's the thing, though. If you don't do it, then you know that your vote didn't count. If you do vote, then at least you have some kind of hope, right?
Oh yeah, hope's not a plan. Sorry, you'll never convince me hope's a plan.
You have a hope that they're going to count them correctly
No,
and
hope's not a
bring the correct person to.
We were made to assume they cheated Trump. They didn't cheat him. He was put there as a controlled opposition. They cheated us and want us to know they did it. I will vote, if only for the down ticket candidates. Yep. I need to download that chart. Kelly, it's out there. You can email me. I'll email it to you. But what's easy is just go to my website, lifedonefree.com. It's nothing special, but there's calculators in there. Like there's also a food calculator in there that will allow you to determine what a year's worth of food is. It's actually really cool. I'll show it sometime on the channel. You know, how many calories are in a pig and a cow and beans and corn, and it's in there, and you can figure out what a year's worth of food looks like for your family on that calculator.
Yeah, super handy.
Yep. Arguing with me got him all choked up. It did, Eagle Lover. Actually, Eagle Lover, I love it. Bring it on. I respect you for your opinion. I respect where you're going. I just don't happen to agree with you. It's all fake, fraud, and a lie until the votes are hand counted and on paper ballots. There's an effort in Arkansas to require hand-marked paper ballots. I'd be him. 122 million registered voters, but over 150 million votes. Our best friend is running for sheriff in our parish. Good guy. Praise the Lord. Hope he wins. I hope he wins too. Thank you for the ungovernable worksheet tag. We will be doing this. Oh, my pleasure. I hope it helps. Change it any way you want. You know what the greatest thing about the ungovernable score calculator? It's ungovernable. It doesn't make you do anything. You can put any scale, it's however you view freedom, right? And that's what freedom really is.
Yeah, and it's just to help you guys to.
Yep. That was one of my big requirements is I don't want to mandate anything. I don't want to say that shelter should equal 20% of the total score. That's for you to determine, right? It is truly an ungovernable calculator. I have no idea where I'm at. We'll just start right there. I think both parties on the same side, but do the election to keep people busy. I agree with that a whole bunch. They're seeing how far we bent over without any kind of reaction. Sadly, they have proven that the American people are still too comfortable to react. Let me see. Hakes Raw 54. Welcome, by the way. My brother died 2 years ago. I'm very sorry to hear that. Talked to him the other day, and he said all the people in that cemetery are voting Republican this time.
Oh no!
I'm still sorry to hear about your brother. I don't mean I'm not laughing at that.
Right.
Your comment's funny though. I was sad when I heard my dad voted for Biden. He never would have done that when he was alive. Joey is the most popular, unfavorable president. It's just crazy to me. You just cannot convince me. You cannot convince me that that was fair. The dude's a moron. Tag, it was amazing. Soon as Florida went Trump, the last holdout shut down, recalculated, and stole the election. Yeah. You see, that's why I'm making sure my son's name isn't being used in a stupid ass state. and half the country votes for one party and the other half can't cheat. All right, babe. What's sorry? Your turn. I did like 7 right in a row. Anything else you want to talk about?
No, because we talked about
Okay.
along the way
All right.
all of these.
Let's do some laundry real quick, okay? So we did a video today about B being upset at me because I was picking on her. You guys should go watch it if you haven't. It's actually has done really well. We caught B on vacation a bunch. Lisa and B did a video on potatoes and bees this week, right? I have a Starve the Beast video coming out about men and about why where we're at is really the fault of men, coming out this next week. Self-Reliance Festival's coming up, Midwest Preparedness Festival's coming up, and Kentucky Sustainable Living Conference is coming up. I'll be speaking at all 3 of them.
All in October?
September, end of September, and then through October. And so that'll be fun. I hope to see some of you guys there. Vote with your dollar, right? What else do we got here?
Those are all September?
End of September and into October. You got Midwest, and then the next weekend is Self-Reliance, and then you skip a week and Kentucky Sustainable.
Yes. And then we have the Freeman Festivus right after that.
In November.
Yes.
Yeah. And any of you guys want to come up for the Freeman Festival, I'd love to have you. It's nothing special. It's just a dinner. We do a big potluck, and we celebrate our own traditions.
Just enjoy.
It's not Christmas. It's not Thanksgiving. That's why we call it a Festivus. And we're learning as a community here to make our own traditions. And so this gives us an opportunity to make those own traditions.
We have limited seating.
Yeah, November 18th. Yeah, it's free. Bring something to eat, covered that. Oh, one other thing. There's a lot of reports too about censorship going up. And so channels like mine who talk the way I talk, there's a chance that at some point they're going to take us all down. So I only say this to tell you guys to, when we do these things, go do something with it, right? Put action behind it. Because there may not be people, like me or a million other people, right, who will be able to remind, all the time. Oh, cool. Faith, you going to be there? Of course you're going to be there.
Which one? Oh, it's
Self-Reliance. Yeah. So I got all that. Hey, good night, One Step Closer. And hey, thanks for your work on the Ungovernable Score Calculator. One Step Closer is the architect behind it, by the way, if I didn't tell you guys.
Thank you for what you do.
Yeah, we're in northeastern Kansas, Barb. Shameless plug. I posted a power solar video recently, kind of the basics. There ain't nothing wrong with that, Grateful Hearts. Can you post a link to your channel in here? And, there's been a lot of conversations about solar. Let's share the love. Let's go over there to Grateful Hearts and watch that video. Yep. Like what you see, subscribe, right? Let's support people who want to live the way we live, right?
Well, it also encourages them to keep going because, it's hard to keep going sometimes. I mean, we don't have a choice, right? We're going to go and we're going to cut wood in order to have wood cooking videos. But, be careful what you ask for.
Okay. Let me see here. It says he cannot post.
Oh, because he's...
I can't. And I can't make him a moderator from here. So,
yeah.
Because I would do that. That'd be easy. Anyway, go to Grateful Hearts Rant. He's got a solar video. Couple other points, and then we'll get out of here. Colby. Hey, I wanted to tell you guys, I'll give you a little tip about when you're building a homestead. And, there's a lot of things that go on and you just don't think about. But for years and years and years, B and I tried to get on the chip drop list, right, where they would bring us mulch. We tried to do something. We never had any luck with any of that. It wasn't until I made it convenient for them. And what I mean by that is when I put my driveway in, I made it where big trucks could get in and out really, really easy. As soon as I did that, what happened was all of a sudden, everyone's approaching me. So the telephone poles, when they take them down, they want to drop them off my land instead of paying to drop them off somewhere. So I get unlimited telephone poles. Mulch. I can't even tell you guys the hundreds of loads of mulch that have been dropped on my property this year for free. And they benefit way more than just me, right? My neighbor directly across the street is a good friend of mine and been homesteading with us a long, long time. And he comes over and gets dump truck loads of mulch all the time. And so think about when you guys are building that, think about the bigger picture and how you can obtain some of these things by making it convenient for people to bring them to you, right?
We've gotten a shovel and a cone and some boots.
Pair of boots, yep, in the mulch. Yeah. Yep.
Lots of trash.
Yep.
Water bottles for sure.
Oh, there you go. There's this channel right there, guys. Thank you, Eagle Lover, Texas. I don't know why I didn't
that's
think
nice.
about that.
Thanks, Eagle Lover.
So silly, right? Costco stopped selling Budweiser right after Bill Gates bought Bud stock. Yeah, he got Bud's never coming back. He got hammered. All right, you got any parting words? It's 2 hours and 14 minutes.
My parting words was be careful what you ask for.
You might just get it.
Because yeah, you might get it, and then you got to figure out what to do then.
Oops. There we go. Guys, my parting words tonight are a couple things, and I wrote them down for you. So things to go focus on. First of all, let's go focus on our psychological freedom first, right? Because you got to get in the mindset of challenging the system, and the mindset of saying no, and the mindset of, taking your freedom back for yourself. And, once we do that, I would encourage you guys to go focus on your relationship with money. Because I'm going to tell you, 9 out of 10 people that I know have a poor relationship with money, right? They think it's going to be around forever. They think it's this holy grail thing. They think it's something that is totally not, when in the end of the day, if you just sit down and did the math, I could prove to you it's not worth anything, right? It's just a cycling process to drive taxes and to drive revenue to make an economy look big. It's really the land of make-believe. And I've said this a million times, but focus on your relationship with money, and then also focus on your relationship with assets. Right? Because that's equally important, right? I have a love relationship with assets, and I could give 2 shits about money. And I try to live my life that way, and it has proven super well for me over the course of my life. I'll also tell you guys to work on your moral autonomy, right? You determine what's right and what's wrong, right? Not some bureaucrat, right? Not somebody out there, not some school, not some of that. Have moral autonomy. And then finally, take responsibility for your own needs. They are your responsibility. Every time you got to ask for permission is a vulnerable spot for you. Become energy independent, become food independent, become water independent, become sewer independent, right? Get as many of them off the list as you can, and you will withstand far better than everybody else. You can only store so much food, right? What you got to go focus on is becoming independent on all of these kind of things. Those would be my parting words for the night. Guys, it was fun tonight. We spent 2 hours and 16 minutes chit-chatting about all the craziness going on in the world. And, if there's something I can do, obviously feel free to reach out. But until then, go live freer today than you did yesterday. Hold the line. Don't give an inch.
Be out.
Tag out. See you guys. Good night, everybody.